Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Well, last night's game was rained out. It's been raining for most of the day here in Boston, but they're taking the tarp off, and it is time for baseball as Benjamin Moore presents the Wednesday game of the week. Tonight, it's the New York Yankees against the Boston Red Sox in the first of a two-game set from Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with Al Leiter and John Flaherty. I'm Michael Kay. So yesterday's game was rained out. It's now a two-game set, and everybody has been looking at this series and saying, I wonder how Aaron Judge is going to perform at Fenway Park with the Green Monster. It's his 25th birthday. I think I know how he wants to celebrate it.
Well, we're all looking forward to the matchup, the Green Monster against Aaron Judge, but you got to give this kid credit. He has made adjustments in the minor leagues at every level, and he's making adjustments now at the major league level. You see the distance of the home runs, 6 of them already. But when I watch his swing, the leg kick is simpler, the path to the baseball is simpler. Because of that, he's cut down on the strikeouts. He's a huge man with huge power. He's gotten off to a great start. You know his confidence is sky high right now, getting his first opportunity against the Green Monster tonight.
All right, let's see who's going to try to slow him down. Tonight's pitching matchup brought to you by People's United Bank N.A. Cy Young Award winner Rick Porcello will try to slow him down 1-2, 5.32. And for the Yankees, it's Luis Severino, 1-1, 4.05. But out on his last two starts, big strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, a lot of strikeouts, Michael. Look, Luis Severino, to me, very impressive. The fastball is upwards at 98 to 100 miles an hour. It's this pitch right here, the slider. It's a batting average under 1 when he ends at bat in this slider. I think this is awesome. You see right here off of Avi Garcia, his last two starts in 13 innings, he's got 21 punch-outs, mostly because of that pitch.
So who's he have to face? The Red Sox have some killer bees. This team has the highest batting average of any team in baseball. Andrew Benintendi, the rookie, 361. Mookie Betts at 313. Jackie Bradley Jr. at 280. So there are a lot of hitters in that Red Sox order that Severino is going to have to deal with tonight. It's going to be interesting to see how the Yankees deal with the Red Sox. It's a litmus test series for the Yankees. How will they do against the favorites in the American League East? Joe Girardi and Meredith Marakovitz will tell us when they get back right here on Yes.
And yes, I'm Meredith Morakovitz. After the Red Sox made some bold moves this offseason, they came into their 2017 campaign heavy favorites to win the AL East. However, the Yankees have certainly opened up some eyes this April. Manager Joe Girardi said he feels as though this series is a good gauge to see where his team is at.
I think it really is an early test. Obviously, this is a club that is very talented all across the board, wherever you look, whether it's defense, offense, running the bases, pitching, bullpen. Won the division, and they're the team that set the mark last year, and win our division the next 9 games, I believe it is. Well, it's 8 now because we got rained out, but these are important games.
Luis Severino hopes to continue his success. He has combined for 21 strikeouts over his last 2 outings. However, he said he doesn't really like pitching here at Fenway. The key for him tonight is to make sure he keeps that ball low in the zone. Plenty more to come here on the YES Network. When we get back, Rick Porcello gets the ball. Michael Kay with the call. He'll be joined by Al Leiter and John Flaherty in the booth.
Buick. Visit tristatebuick.com for great lease offers. By Benjamin Moore, only available in independently owned paint and hardware stores. Benjamin Moore, paint like no other. And by Honda, come test drive the Honda of your dreams at the Honda Dream Garage sales event today. It's a cold night here at Fenway Park. Everybody's bundled up. There's kind of a mist in the air. Almost looks like a scene from a Sherlock Holmes movie, but we do have baseball as the Red Sox have taken the field. So why don't we take a look at the Yankees starting lineup, which is presented by our good friends at Lexus. Brett Gardner, the left fielder, will lead off, batting second and playing third base. Chase Headley. Matt Holliday has been slumping of late. He'll DH, he'll hit third. Cleaning up center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury has good numbers lifetime against Porcello. Starlin Castro, the second baseman, bats fifth, batting sixth. Playing right field, Aaron Judge. He'll turn 25 today. Greg Bird, the first baseman, bats seventh, batting eighth and catching. Austin Romine. Ronald Torreyes will play shortstop and bat ninth.
And Rick Porcello on the mound, the New Jersey native from Morristown, New Jersey, went to Seton Hall Prep. 28-year-old, was a first-round draft pick by the Tigers back in 2007. There you see his number, that high ERA, a little deceiving. He did have one clunker against Tampa Bay where he didn't get out of 5 innings and gave up 8 runs. Let's take a look at the pitcher scatter report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Yes, he is the reigning American League Cy Young Award winner. Last year, beat out Verlander. They've had 6 winners as far as the Boston Red Sox. Jim Lomberg, Clemens was 3 times, Pedro was twice, and Porcello last year. Rough start, I mentioned that high ERA, but his last start, he had more sinkers, and yes, he does have a plus slider so far early going in this season. When batters end in the slider, he's got a .071 batting average.
All right, so yesterday was rained out, and that will be made up as part of a day-night doubleheader on July 16th on a Sunday. But now it turns into an abbreviated 2-game set. And Yankees and the Red Sox, always a good time. This is the first of 6 series that these two teams will play, 3 at Fenway Park and 3 at Yankee Stadium. Yankees were 2-8 last year at Fenway, one of their worst marks on a season. Porcello's ready. Gardner's ready. Let's do it here in Boston, and the first pitch is a strike, and we are underway. Gardner's been struggling, just 1 hit in his last 19 at-bats. He was 0 for 7 in Pittsburgh. Pitch outside, and we're even at 1-1.
Well, when you're struggling like that, like Brett Gardner is, you look at the opposing pitcher, and pretty good numbers against Porcello. 11 for 33, 333 batting average, so maybe try to get it going a little bit here tonight.
Breaking ball, strike. Count 1-2. Fieldon Culbreth is the home plate umpire. Mark Carlson at first, Manny Gonzalez at second, and Lance Barksdale is the third base ump. And Porcello deals. Popped up left side. Rutledge gives it a look, but it's in the seats. Wow, you're used to seeing every single seat occupied for a Yankee Red Sox series, for any game here at Fenway, but it's such a terrible day here in Boston, so maybe people were waiting to see if they started the game, then they'll head here. But right now, there are a lot of available seats here at Fenway. Very odd look. The 1-2. Just missed. You can see Porcello works from the extreme first base side of the rubber.
Yeah, pitchers do that, Michael. You want to take advantage of the angles. Pitcher's rubber's 24 inches long. Home plate is 17. He's got a lot of sinking action.
That one is lined into center field. It's a base hit for Gardner. That's his first base hit of this road trip, and boy, he needed that. A leadoff single for Brett. Now let's take a look at the Red Sox defense, which is presented by Geico. You've got Benintendi, the rookie in left, Bradley in center, Mookie Betts is in right. In the infield, it's Rutledge, Bogarts, Hernandez, Moreland. That's third and first. Sandy Leone is behind the plate with Porcello on the mound. Dustin Pedroia still feeling it after that slide by Manny Machado. He was supposed to be in the game tonight, but they are listing him as day-to-day. And they're a little worried about the wet track here at Fenway Park as Headley takes inside. Because after yesterday's rain out, manager John Farrell said that Pedroia would be in the lineup, and then when you didn't see him in the lineup, you got a little concerned, but it probably is about the wet track.
Well, you look at John Farrell, and we just showed that defensive alignment for the Red Sox. A lot of the mainstays not in there. Teams at 11-8 playing pretty well in the month of April. For all of the injuries that they have gone through, the flu has devastated their clubhouse. I feel pretty fortunate to be above 500 at this point.
Well, the big scary injury with David Price going down in spring training, but wow, I mean, you bring in a guy, you talk about Chris Sale and what he means to this rotation.
The 1-0, line to right field coming on his Betts. He leaps to make the play. One away.
Well, Chase Headley hitting second, hits a rocket to right field. Mookie Betts maybe a little fooled off the bat, able to make the play. I like Chase Headley hitting in the number 2 spot. A little switch hitter, has gotten off to a great start.
Here's Matt Holliday, who early got off to a good start, but has run into some issues lately. He's 2 for his last 24. Obviously didn't start any of the games in Pittsburgh without the DH being available, but he did pinch hit. And Matt said it's highly unlikely he's going to be playing the field since he didn't play 1 inning, 1/3 of an inning in spring training out in the outfield. So I guess he could go out there in an emergency, but putting him out there for a game probably would be a bit unfair. The 1-0. 2-0 from Porcello.
For me, it's always fun watching the first game of this rivalry series and kind of the new personalities that are involved. Holiday at the plate, you got Aaron Judge, some of the young kids. How are they going to perform? Chris Sale, you mentioned that. Big Poppy's gone, Alex Rodriguez is gone. So it's a whole new rivalry per se, and you see how some of these teams are going to get along this year.
The 2-0 fouled away.
Yeah, and you know, to mention that Big Poppy not being here, right? I mean, it always seems like historically, and I know Yankee fans know this from the years of, you know, some kind of villain, right? You know, somebody on either side that dislike, and having so many homegrown players on each respective roster, yeah, it is different. I agree with you, Flash.
Tonight's the first time that the Red Sox don't have David Ortiz on the active roster against the Yankees since September 4th of 2002. The Yankees won that game 3-1. And ironically enough, every single player on both of those rosters are not active on a major league roster now. But they still love him here.
Well, his numbers right against the Yankees just killed him over the years.
And also, it's hard to retire off a season like he had last year. I mean, that was an unbelievable year. Not many people retire off that number.
Well, the numbers were incredible, but to hear what he had to do to get ready to play every day and how much pain he was in, I mean, the ability to still put up those numbers is incredible.
Count 2-2 on Holiday. Gardner leads off first, held there by Moreland. And the pitch. Swing and a miss, and Holiday down on strikes, 2 away.
Yeah, just looking at that swing, Michael, you know, he got behind, Porcello did, and just came right at him. I mean, you look at these fastballs, a couple sinkers, but this is just 94 mile an hour. Actually looked like he was a little in front. Swung right through it, just powered it right by him.
Well, the boos you hear are for Jacoby Ellsbury, who left the Red Sox as a free agent and signed with the Yankees. Gotten off to a really good start. He has a 6-game hitting streak. He was 6 for 13 in the 3-game set in Pittsburgh. Yankees lost 2 of those 3 games. And going back to last year, Ellsbury has reached base safely in 24 straight games. Good numbers against Porcello, 12 for 31 with 4 home runs. Strike.
Well, I'm watching Porcello, and he's known for that good sinking fastball. That looks a little side to side to me right there. Maybe a little bit of the reason he's gotten off to a slow start.
Yeah, what you're saying is right. I mean, especially elevated upstairs, the sinker has action down, as you say, John, and I think really his last start was much better because of it.
Runner goes, and Ellsbury fouls it back.
You know, I think with Porcello, you know, listen, he's got a Cy Young on his mantle, but here's a guy coming out of high school and really, I mean, he was a 95 or better guy, big curveball, gets to the Tigers. Jim Leyland saw a sinker, kind of change up slider guy, and he kind of forgot who he was. Yeah, really. Yes, he needs a sinker. You know, it's an action pitch that's down in the zone. But here's the guy. He's gonna come at the hitters. He throws a lot of strikes.
1-2 on Ellsbury.
There's what you're talking about a little bit. 94 elevated up in the zone, so you kind of change the eye level of a hitter. Now you have so many options. You can go that sinker, you can go a slider, curveball down.
One-two, fouled away.
So, Michael, when you cited the numbers, we put it out there, right? If a guy's wearing a guy out, but when you have the history that Ellsbury's had against Porcello, it's legit. And not only is it legit, it's damage. The 4 home runs in 31 at bats. So that's where the cat and mouse. And John, when you have a guy and you know he kind of wears you out in the sense where Ellsbury's been hitting Porcello, you want to throw backwards. You want to, if you know here this is a slider that you go back foot, maybe I'll throw a high fastball, as he did. He just fouled it off. Long set. Gardner goes, and time was called.
Gardner had a pretty good jump. I believe it was Ellsbury who called time. So Gardner will head back.
So for pitchers, you know, if you're not going to throw over, what Porcello did, he just held up. And you see right there with fielding Colbreth, the home plate umpire calling time. Yeah, that timing was just, I mean, perfect timing in the sense of for Ellsbury to call it and the home plate umpire to grant it.
Runner goes. Lined up the middle, and because he was covering the bag, right there was Xander Bogaerts to end the inning. No runs to hit, and one man left on base. Yankees nothing, and the Red Sox coming back. Score in the top of the first. Why don't we take a look at the Red Sox starting lineup? Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop, leads off, batting second and playing left field. Andrew Benintendi. Mookie Betts in right field will hit third. Good numbers lifetime against the Yankees. The newest Red Sox, Mitch Moreland at first base will clean up. The number 5 hitter is the DH, Hanley Ramirez. Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field bats sixth. Batting seventh, playing third base, Josh Rutledge, as Pablo Sandoval was put on the DL with a bad right knee. Marco Hernandez at second base will bat eighth, and batting ninth and catching, Sandy Leon.
Luis Severino on the mound, the 23-year-old right-hander, will be making his 4th start. Coming off 2 impressive starts. I know his last start, he ended up losing in 8 innings and 10 strikeouts. There you see his numbers. Very impressive, 27 strikeouts in the 20 innings. Let's take a look at the pitcher scout report, brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. I mentioned it, Ks galore. The 27 and 20 innings is very impressive. 3rd in Ks per 9. He has the sliders been great, batting average of under 1, 094. And make a statement in Beantown. He hasn't been good against the Red Sox, and in particular, he hasn't been good here at Fenway with an ERA almost 10.
All right, here's Bogaerts, and the first pitch is inside, 1-0. Bogaerts has a 5-game hitting streak, hitting .333 overall with 5 ribbies. And there's the strike.
Al, I'm glad you mentioned those numbers at Fenway Park, because Severino told our Meredith Marakovitz he does not like pitching here, which kind of jumps out at me that you would actually say that.
Yeah, you don't mention
You don't,
it.
right?
Well, you know what, I would imagine, Flesh, that he would have to admit to the numbers.
Yeah.
And when, even though it's only 2 appearances, it was 1 start, an ERA of 9.53. But career-wise, he hasn't really figured it out.
Chop towards short. Ranging over is Torres. 1 away. All right, Andrew Benintendi comes up now. It's time for AARP's Getting to Know Benintendi. Let's take a look. First round pick in 2015, 7th overall. And did great in the minors, so just rocketed through there. Major League debut on August 2nd of last year. Didn't have enough at-bats last year, so he's eligible to win the Rookie of the Year. Top prospect in Major League Baseball, according to Baseball America. Now, things are going so well for Andrew Benintendi that during the off day, his batting average went up. A ball that he hit here in Boston against Pittsburgh on April 13th. Was scored a fielder's choice, and yesterday it was changed to a hit. So he's hitting .361 without playing. The average went up. People just rave about him. His way he carries himself. He's 22, and Dustin Pedroia says he acts like he's 32. He doesn't act like a kid at all, like he belongs here. Fouled away.
Well, you know what? The old catcher in me always comes out when you look at a young hitter and you watch how he sets up. He's open a little bit with the front foot, but his body is real tall, and you watch his swing. He uses his hands so well. So there aren't any places, Al, I think, that I would look right away and say, this is where I'm going to go. Pretty generic stance. Easy little leg kick. Not a whole lot of movement. And off to another great start.
He's a line-to-line hitter. He'll hit the ball from the left field line to right field line, and you talk about a guy that can barrel it up. This is it right here.
Yankees had him play beautifully. That's Headley who makes the play, and a nice scoop by Bird for the second out. He saved Headley an error. Why don't we take a look at the Yankees defense, which is presented by our good friends at Geico. We've got Brett Gardner in left, Ellsbury in center, and Judge over in right. In the infield, you've seen Headley and Torreyes. On the other side, it's Castro and Bird. Rominer's done such a good job filling in for the injured Gary Sanchez. He's behind the plate. Luis Severino is on the mound. Here's Mookie Betts. You know, John, you mentioned that he said he doesn't like pitching here at Fenway. He also did not hide the fact that he's thrilled that David Ortiz retired. He said, I couldn't get him out. That's not an exclusive club.
Yeah, that factored into those numbers that I mentioned. But Big Papi retired. 3 for 7, 3 solo home runs off of Severino.
1 and 2 on Betts. Just underway here at Fenway. We thank you for joining us. Yankees didn't score in the top of the first. Red Sox with 2 outs, nobody on. And Mookie Betts at the plate here in the bottom of the first. Swing and a miss. Couldn't hold up. Ball diving down and away. And Severino retires the Red Sox 1-2-3. Coming up, the birthday boy, Aaron Judge, will try to tame the Green Monster. How does he do it? We'll find out in just a moment right here on Yes. As we head to the second, one of those kids going to be happy. Starlin Castro is happy. He's leading off here in the second. The Volkswagen League leaders. You've got Garcia leading the league in hitting. then Benintendi, Castro, Souza, Trout, and Chase Headley. So it'll be Castro, Judge, and Bird here in the second. Breaking ball with no bite moves Castro off the plate. 1-0. Great start for Castro, 357 with 4 home runs. He was 4 for 13 in the weekend series in Pittsburgh. Porcello deals. Drops a breaking ball in there for a strike. 1-1. And here's the 1-1. Nub foul. 1-2.
You know, talking about Starlin Castro, Michael, looking at it, several of these Yankee hitters, in particular Castro, Ellsbury, Headley, even Aaron Judge, looking at the metrics, if you will, on hitters in the American League that don't swing at pitches out of the zone, and there are measurements for that. The guys that I mentioned are in the tops in the American League, which tells you where they are strike zone recognition.
Ground ball to short, Bogarts, and the ball gets by Moreland, and Castro reaches, backing up nicely as Leon. So that's going to be an E6. Moreland's a very good first baseman, and didn't come up with that.
I mean, a routine play for Bogarts, and obviously you think about maybe the possibility of a slick baseball, but this is a routine play, and you mentioned that Moreland can't come up with the backhand, and the Yankees catch a break here to start off the second.
So here's Aaron Judge. Now, to say that he could take advantage of the monster kind of downplays his power. He could hit a ball out of any ballpark. But it will be fun these 2 days to see what he does with that legendary piece of real estate out there. He goes the other way, deep to right field. Going back is Betts on the track, looking up. See ya! A home run for Aaron Judge. A nice way to celebrate your birthday. A 2-run shot the other way, and it's 2-0 Yankees.
Welcome to the Yankee-Red Sox rivalry, Aaron Judge. And I love what he said before the game. I'm not thinking about the green monster. I'm just going to do what I've been doing with my at-bats, and it'll be good enough, and it certainly was. He was up there aggressive early in the count and hammers one to right center field. Fenway Park for a right-handed hitter going the other way, not the easiest thing to do. You love the approach, you love the aggressiveness. Home run number 7.
And Greg Bird takes a breaking ball strike. Judge had a base hit to right field in Pittsburgh in the last game, and now he goes to right field here.
I mean, Flash, really. Well, Michael, you just set it up. At any ballpark, doesn't matter. You got a Sitco sign out there in left field. That was a smooth, easy, nothing like it. Just put the ball in play, swing.
I'll tell you what, your first at bat at Fenway Park, and I know Aaron had a workout here when he was in the Cape Cod League, but you know the green monster is right there. You can feel it. I guess I'm more impressed that he was looking for something out over the plate, and he drove it the other way. The approach was perfect.
1-2. Meredith, you spoke to Judge today about this.
I did, Michael, and when I asked him to describe his start to the season, he just looked at me and smiled and said, consistent. Coming into this season, I wanted to be a consistent part of the season, of the lineup, and I feel as though I've done that so far. He also credited his teammates. He said, it seems like every time I get up, somebody is on base, and you don't know what that does to allow me to be carefree at the plate. It really helps take the pressure off me and allows me to go to work when I step into the batter's box.
Greg Bird on the opposite end of the spectrum from Judge just continues to struggle as he strikes out. He's 0 for 12 on this road trip, 1 for his last 20.
And he's late on the fastball too, not getting that front foot down early enough, and you can tell opposing pitchers are taking advantage and just throwing it right by him. That front foot should be down so much earlier for Greg Bird. He'll figure it out, but having a tough time right now.
There's Romine, and there's a strike. John, you got to appreciate what Romine's doing toward the end of your career. You were a backup catcher. You were a starter at the start of your career. And for him to do this coming up the bench when he thought he was going to be a backup guy, it's pretty impressive.
Well, I think the most impressive part was last year when he kind of accepted what his role was, and he did so well. You see Gary Sanchez here trying to get his game back. But I think Austin kind of accepts who he is right now. He's a really good backup player who's getting an opportunity for a couple of weeks. And when you get that opportunity, you know it's not going to be your job for the whole year. So you're like, you know what, I'm just going to do my thing now for a couple of weeks, keep my approach the same until that man comes back. And Al, I think I've been most impressed with the way Austin's worked with the pitching staff and the way he's calling a game.
And I agree. And I'll tell you what, Flash, and you could appreciate this as a backup catcher. And I don't want to keep saying that, but that's what his role is now. Every pitcher, or at least every backup catcher that I had, appreciates that guy, an Austin Romine, that really understands every pitcher on your staff, knows what to go to, knows your go-to, knows your nuance, knows your personality, all of that. And it's such an important role on a team. It really is. Even if you get 1 or 2 starts a week in American League, maybe you get an extra shot if you want to give your everyday catcher a DH opportunity.
Swing and a miss as Romine down on strikes.
But I wonder, you mentioned about with Gary Sanchez going down. Is it a little different knowing, okay, if that was my role coming out of spring training, Gary gets hurt, I have time to not be so pressured and thinking I have to get 4 hits today because I'm not going to play in 5 days?
I think so, but I also think if you keep your approach the same, hey, pitching staff first. Let's win some games first. And then whatever I do, it's almost a freedom, Al. Like I don't have to do more than I've done in my backup role. And to be honest, a lot of other guys are picking up the slack offensively, so it makes it a lot easier to relax a little bit.
Ronald Torrey is one of those guys who has 13 RBIs. He takes a first pitch strike. And Torreyes' days in the starting lineup might be winding to a precious few. Didi Gregorius has done very well in his rehab assignment, and there's a chance we could see him Friday night at Yankee Stadium against Baltimore.
What the greatest part about all this is, Sanchez is going to come back and Didi's going to come back, but these guys who have stepped up feel good about themselves, when they're sitting on the bench later on and you have a confidence about you, your teammates can trust you. I mean, that goes a long way during a long season.
I like this guy. He battles, he fights. You saw that last swing there. Just put the ball in play. He doesn't walk. He doesn't strike out.
So, of course, he strikes out. And Porcello bounces back from the 2-run home run with 3 strikeouts. But the 2-run home run off the bat of Aaron Judge. He goes the other way into the bullpen at right center. When it lands, it's 2-0 Yanks. Unintentionally thrown pitches that hit batters too high. Why or why not? One of the responses we got, absolutely. We all know the unwritten rules, one of yours for one of ours, but headhunting should be severely punished. Now, this is a big topic here in Boston over the last couple of days. This happened in Baltimore. Manny Machado slid in and inadvertently spiked Dustin Pedroia, ended up leaving the game, and that's why he's not starting tonight. And then Matt Barnes decides to go behind the head of Machado to make up for throwing at Pedroia, who the next day caught Machado across the field and said, "Not me. If it was me, it would have happened that game. It's not me." Okay, so this leads to a lot of questions. First, we want you to remind us, follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius Prime to keep the conversation going. First, we start with you, Al. How hard is it to hit somebody, and should anybody ever go up in the head?
No, the head is a danger area, and I think many big league pitchers have the ability to kind of hone in as to where you would want to brush a guy back, if you will. So I'm in agreement that when you're talking about a head, it's scary. It's potentially life-threatening.
All right, now we move on to the next thing, which becomes the big topic of conversation. Pedroia is unbelievably revered here in Boston by the fans and by the guys in that room. But he kind of gave up his teammate. Didn't know he was on camera saying it wasn't me. So you could interpret that as Barnes being thrown under the bus, as well as John Farrell. Did he do the wrong thing, John Flaherty?
Oh, I definitely think he did the wrong thing. I think if he was in the game, obviously that wouldn't have happened, but you're in the dugout, it's a little more casual. I didn't like the fact that he was throwing his teammate under the bus, but at the end of it, you still respect everything about Dustin Pedroia and the way he plays the game.
A very respected columnist in the Boston Globe, Nick Cafardo, wrote that Pedroia has earned the right to say that. He didn't throw anybody under the bus, and everybody in the Red Sox locker room has said the right thing, and he didn't do anything wrong, but nobody's going to throw Dustin Pedroia under the bus either.
I think what was wrong was, for Dustin to not realize that we can read lips and we can see this whole conversation going on. This wasn't something that he said in a post-game interview to the press directly. Yes, I know. I think if he comes back and we're able to redo it, he wouldn't be mouthing that across the field to Manny Machado.
Yeah, send a text after the game.
Something.
Make a phone call after the game.
Now, one funny line that Pedroia had yesterday after the game was rained out, he said, I didn't know I was on camera. He said, I wish that replay was that good when you appeal something.
That's a good line, but I go back, Al, and I want to get your opinion on this, on Barnes, right? He's a bullpen guy, and both you and I have spent a lot of time in bullpens. And there are conversations that happen down there between a lot of different personalities, right? And you wonder if this guy said, I'm going to do this on my own. Was there a veteran player that maybe said, hey, somebody's got to go? There are just so many different layers to it.
So how the game played out, Eduardo Rodriguez missed in a big way.
Yeah.
And it was a forced, it's embarrassing, truthfully.
Ramirez hits a rocket by Castro for a base hit. Judge will get the ball in, so that's the first hit against Severino.
Michael, you said, is it hard to hit a guy? Yes, it is, and especially when it's obvious, when you know you have to protect your guys. It's part of the game. I know that, out there maybe fans don't see it that way, but if your guys feel either A, they're getting thrown at, or there's something that is egregious in the field, you got to protect them, and that's the way you protect them. You don't protect them with sidebar fights. So then in doing so, you have to be able to know how to hit a guy, or at least let the other dugout know, hey, you can't keep doing that to our guys.
Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. That one is chopped toward Bird. He gets the force at second. That's all they get. Now, here's another question, John. Buck Showalter has a memory of an elephant, so they threw behind the head of Machado. Because Pedroia said it wasn't me, does that absolve him of getting hit the next time they meet, which is in, I believe, 5 days? Or is Pedroia still a target?
Oh, I'm sure he's still a target. I'm sure it's a conversation. And, to Dustin's credit, if you get a big league pitcher, Al, like you said, and he does it the right way, Dustin Pedroia will walk down to first base and it's over. You did it the right way. Now we can just move forward. But it's not going away. It's definitely going to come back at some point. Now, I've played with pitchers who would do that on their own. I played with pitchers who you had to say, hey, we got to take care of this. There have been pitchers who were not willing to do it, and pitchers who were more than willing to do it.
Yeah, almost to a detriment.
Yes,
like, hey, you better cool out. You're going to
calm
get
down
that
a little bit, right?
I think really it comes down to knowing the situation and knowing that something has to be done. And I can tell you, John, that I had managers where it became obvious where you have to do something. If nothing else, you gotta drop a guy just so the other team knows we can't do. You're not a pinball machine. You're not going to be picking our guys off like piñatas.
Grounded to short, charging is Torreyes, flips to second, and that'll do it here in the second. No runs to hit, and one man left. We're going to go to the third inning with the Yankees up 2-0.
And it's time for tonight's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore, doing more in state-of-the-art healthcare. Both Didi Gregorius and Gary Sanchez continue to make progress. Gregorius playing in another rehab game. Joe Girardi said he will be in the next series. Did not rule out Friday night, but you'll see him at some point in time. Gary Sanchez threw from 120 feet today. Also took BP in the cage. Michael, two guys the Yankees definitely want back in that lineup.
You can only assume, Eric, that will make them a better team, and they're 11-7 at this point. Here's Brett Gardner. And he lines one to center field. Bradley's there to make the play, one pitch, one out. Now, just to put a bow on the Pedroia, Barnes, and Machado conversation. Number one, Barnes was suspended for 4 games by Major League Baseball. Quickly appealed it, but he withdrew that appeal. He's starting that suspension today, so this is the first of the 4 games. Second thing I want to throw at both of you guys, this all started because of that slide at second base. Was that a bad slide? Was that a dirty slide?
In my opinion, it was not a dirty slide. You can argue it was late, but I looked at Machado's reaction. He immediately went to Pedroia to make sure that he was okay. And this is part of the problem too, Michael, is that you have different personalities interpreting different plays as dirty or not dirty. And it gets confusing in a clubhouse or a dugout. I don't know how you feel.
No, that's a great point. Right, because through one eye you're watching saying, that wasn't dirty, and then half the clubhouse or dugout is saying, wait a minute, somebody's got to go down. This is, protect our guy. Listen, I think dirty, Michael, I mean, you go back to the days of, Yankee fans. Willie Randolph, Hal McRae knocking him into left field. He's down before the bag. Yes, his foot comes up, but I don't see him pushing that right leg, Machado, into Pedroia. I just don't see it. I didn't see it as that dirty. I really didn't.
And it gets dicey because if you're a catcher, you're down the middle. You got to protect your pitchers, right? Or protect your hitters with your pitchers. And you have one guy saying he's got to go, and then you're talking to the other guy. Really, I didn't think it was that bad, but I guess, okay, we have to do something. When's the right time? Who's willing to do it? Who's not? Boy, if you don't do it the right way, it can divide a clubhouse.
Chase Headley walks against Porcello. And there's also the other thing. Some pitchers don't want to throw at hitters because some pitchers don't want to have mound charged. And former Yankee Mike Messina hit somebody on the Mariners, I think it was Bill Hasselman, who charged the mound, and Mike got hurt. And Mike did not want to throw at people because of that. Did you mind it, Al?
You know what? I the only time that somebody came close enough to where I thought I was going to get my butt kicked was Jim Rice. I was a young player here at Fenway. And I hit him like right above the knee. And I think it was more than, for Rice to just be mad at me because it hurt. Not that he really thought I was doing it. And he was about halfway out. And I said, oh, my God, this guy's going to kill me. But no, you don't think about it, Michael. If you thought about that, you'd be in trouble because, yeah, there's some big, strong guys, a lot stronger than me.
Well, in Yankee Met history, we all remember Sean Estes throwing at Roger Clemens years after what happened with Mike Piazza, and it looked like Estes, that's the last thing he wanted to do.
And that was a darn shame that he was on the mound that day when Roger was at Shea Stadium.
Right.
There were 2 pitchers that were still there from the World Series. It was me and Rick Reed, and we had to be on the mound that day. Roger knew he was going to get hit.
Well, I think it would be so easy for you, Al, because you threw cut fastballs in on righties, right? So, you could just keep cutting it in, get a guy in the hip, and it's over.
And I hit a lot of guys because of that. So I think a lot of guys weren't sure whether I was doing it on purpose or not. Which I could tell you, it was only a handful in 19 seasons that I was asked to, or I knew I had to do something.
Yankees lead this one 2-0. Runner at first with 1 man out. We're in the 3rd inning. The 2 runs, Aaron Judge 2-run home run. And Holiday's struggles continue. He strikes out. He's 2 for his last 26. 2 strikeouts tonight.
You're not getting the at-bats in Pittsburgh, then a couple of days off. And again, I always go back to my Tony Gwynn philosophy. Get that front foot down early and use your hands. The leg kick, maybe a little timing's off on that. Wasn't able to take on the field batting practice. So all the things you want to do when you're a struggling hitter, he hasn't had the opportunity the last couple of days.
Here's Jacoby Ellsbury, grounded into an unassisted force to Xander Bogaerts in the first inning. Might have gotten a hit if Gardner wasn't running. And there goes Headley. The throw from Leon, not in time. Headley really picks his spots and is a good base runner and picks up another stolen base.
His 4th stolen base on the year has not been thrown out. And you're right. He's a guy that you're in a meeting, you say, don't forget about Chase Headley at first base. He won't steal a lot, but he'll pick his spots, throw up the line a little bit. An easy steal for Headley in scoring position with a couple of outs.
So that was a ball to Ellsbury. They play Ellsbury straight away. Bogart shades a bit up the middle. It's short. Inside, 2-0. Castro's on deck.
Well, you go back to that pitcher-catcher scouting report meeting. Al, you talked about the numbers from Ellsbury against Porcello. Runner in scoring position, first base open, and you're behind in the count 2-0. Would not expect Porcello to give in right here. A change up and a fastball count.
Popped up. And Rutledge makes the play, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left. We go to the bottom of the third. 2-0 Yanks. Time for today's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Tell us, Al.
Well, it's pretty obvious right there, Michael. The changeup percentage is up, and I love it because if your command is off on a given night and you're primarily viewed as a two-pitch pitcher, then where do you go? What do you have? So in this case here, if he starts believing more in that changeup, as a catcher, John, you have a little more comfort in calling two secondary pitches as opposed to one.
Marco Hernandez starts up the bottom of the third and fouls it back. Well, 8, 9, and 1 in the Red Sox order. I'm sorry, John.
Sorry, Michael. A few things with that. I mean, you give Austin Romine a lot of credit for calling the changeup early, but you also give Severino the credit for throwing it effectively, and now it seems like he's confident with that pitch. But, Al, I guess you got to be honest. He has all three of them early on this year, right? And tonight it looks like he has all three of them. It's not going to go that way all year long. You're going to need that changeup when you don't have a slider or you don't have fastball command.
As he just threw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and there's a nasty slider. I'm with you, and I know you know this because you've looked in the eyeballs of a pitcher out there that was looking at you going, I don't know what I got today.
Yeah.
So, and what I like about this is for when a young pitcher doesn't really believe it, and you start getting success as opposed to it not being an emergency pitch, as you know, now he wants a little high Ched right here. Now would be a good idea. Come back with that changeup. then it's not my catcher's calling changeups a third pitch of mine, and I know he's calling it because I'm not right. You know?
Yep.
So it's part of the repertoire, truly.
Grounded up the middle, a base hit for Marco Hernandez. Leadoff single here in the third. Al, we've got some bad news for you.
What's that?
The guy who all those years was looking for you.
Uh-oh.
He's still looking for you. Jim Rice is here.
Uh-oh. I'm leaving. You know what? Now looking at him, guys, I remember years later, and what a nice guy. He's a gentleman.
Was he smiling like that when he was coming out?
No. He actually wanted to kill me. But years later, he comes up flesh and he takes my finger and he rubs it on the outside of his knee where I hit him, and he said, "That's you." And I guess I put a little knot on his knee. I said, "Oh gosh, Jim, I'm sorry. It wasn't on purpose."
Now, you said he came halfway to the mound. How did he stop?
Well, so when I hit him, I guess like how he came out of the box, and it was more on like a little bit in front of the bunting circle. He didn't like walk halfway, but it was more of like pain, I believe, than him wanting to actually run out.
You had some good times here at Fenway.
Yeah.
Billy yelling at you, Lou yelling at you.
I was in the clubhouse earlier with John, and I'm looking around. I said, "I remember that night when wasn't very smart of me to getting upset with Billy Martin."
Well, he just said, "You better not throw anything but fastballs," right?
Joel Skinner was behind the plate, and it was heater, heater, heater. And I'm looking at Joel like, I know I throw hard, but I don't throw that hard. And Ellis Burks is up, and I'm shaking him. And Joel Skinner's still going one. And I'm looking at him, and he's going with his head like, it's not me,
It's Billy.
And he hits one off the speaker straight away for a grand slam. And I am ticked. I come in, and, it's an early start. I mean, I was out of the game. And after the game, I said some things close to like, I'm getting sent to not Columbus, but they'll send me to like Oneonta. And somebody was nice to me that night.
1-1. That's where our friendship started, John. Because while he had been taken out of the game in the second inning, I think he had a couple of lemonades for the final 7 innings. And he was just out of it. And he's starting to rip Billy, and I'm a writer then. I'm shaking my head. Don't do it. Don't do it. And I go, what? Runner was going. Ground ball to third. Headley makes the play. Nice heads-up play by Torreyes. No one was covering third. And Torreyes hustled over to keep Hernandez at second.
Well, Torreyes hustled over, and Austin Romine was all over it as well. He got halfway down that third baseline, so a nice job by the Yankee defense in the infield covering third base as Chase Headley comes in and makes the play. You watch Torreyes go. Romine was on the move. Yankees all over it.
And that's the heads-up aspect of infielders knowing they're out of position. Absolutely. Ronald Torreyes, good job.
All right, so runner in scoring position. And to the top of the lineup now, Xander Bogaerts. Yankees lead 2-0 on the Aaron Judge home run in the second inning. 2-run shot. Low and away. 1-0.
See, it's funny, Al. We walked in that clubhouse this afternoon. I remembered a better night for you when you came over. Was that 2005?
2005, yes.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Al Leiter shows up. We're out at dinner the night before. He comes walking in. I'm like, oh, I guess Al Leiter's starting tomorrow night. He threw a gem. Threw a great game.
On Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah. Oh, that's that.
There's a strike. Oh, the way back machine is in charge right now.
Wow. That made 2005 for me, because I was pretty much done.
Good cutter.
Fly ball down the right field line, giving chase is Judge, and he dives into the stands. Let's see if he's okay. Did he catch the ball? The umpire says no. He said, no, I did.
Just thinking as he's running to the wall, don't get hurt with the great start that Aaron Judge has had. I'm sure they're going to take a look at this.
Oh, he has it in his glove. I don't know what happens once he goes down. Now it's in his bare hand.
Maybe so. Let's see here. In his glove.
It's still in there. It's still in there.
Oh, yeah, he made the catch. And he's telling Joe Girardi, I made the catch. So let's see if Joe's going to have this looked at. All right, they're going to take a look.
I think, well, by Judge taking it out of the glove and not revealing it that it was still in the glove cost him. I gotta believe that was the call.
Well, you can see clearly it's in the glove. He makes a transfer to the throwing hand. One thing Aaron Judge has shown, I mean, he's hit so well, but he's played a good right field and he's fearless going towards the wall.
I mean, that could have been serious. I mean, he came in hard. Big man flipping over that 3-foot wall.
Well, they're showing it on the board in center field here. And it's clear when you look at the second replay we showed, he made the catch and then just transferred it from the glove to the hand and he flipped it. We'll see if they overturn it. This is obviously a reviewable play, catch or no catch. And it's hard to blame the umpire because how does he know what's going on when it's out of his sight? And he saw it in the bare hand, not in the glove.
Right, had he just kept it in the glove and not taken it out behind the wall or in the seats, Mark Carlson would have had a better look. There you see right there the transfer. Well, they have that shot. He's out.
That's a very dangerous wall because you can run full speed and it's right up around your thighs, the wall, and you're going to go in there hard. And there's a similar wall like that in Tropicana Field, and Carlos Beltran got hurt doing that same thing, that same sort of catch. And he's running hard too, and it's right around the knee for Aaron because he's so tall.
I was going to say right around the ankle. You know you're not going to get any help from those Red Sox fans down the line. Obviously the rows are empty out there, full crowd.
So this is what I don't get. I mean, we saw it how many times now that our truck was able to show. What are they seeing?
It's kind of like what Pedroia said. I wish it worked as well as when you're reading my lips.
And you know they're showing here. Of course, it's Fenway, right? The Yankees, the enemy, but they're not showing the right angle.
They did show it before.
Oh,
though.
did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Aaron Judge came right out and said, I made the play. And just getting to know him over the years, it doesn't seem like somebody that would not tell the truth in that situation. Probably wouldn't say anything. But he was, if you look at his face, he was shocked that they said it wasn't a catch. I think this is the true replay that shows you it never hit the ground. It's in his glove. He's reaching in the glove and he pulls out the ball. So again, what are they waiting for? Yep, they've overturned it. He is out. And now because Hernandez was smart and tagged up and went to third, they let him go back to third. So a heads up move by Hernandez in case it was a catch. And now there are 2 outs. An outstanding play on Bogarts by Judge.
Go back to the beginning of the game with a new year in the rivalry. Aaron Judge has put a stamp on it already. 2-run home run to right field, a great defensive play.
Now the only thing I could think of that Farrell might be discussing, why don't you allow my guy to score? He might have tagged up and gone all the way home. But he's quickly dismissed by Fielding Culbreth, and there's 2 outs, a runner on third base. Aaron was on the team last year when the Yankees were here for a 4-game set, but he was hurt. He was on the DL. So this is his first game as a Yankee at Fenway Park. Here's Andrew Benintendi. 1-0.
You know, Al, we talked about how long that replay was with the umpires, but you know, if I'm catching, I'm worried about Severino. In such a good groove, working fast, and all of a sudden he's got to stand around and kind of try to get back into it. Not the easiest thing to do.
2-0 on Benintendi. Benintendi went 5 for 5 on Sunday against Baltimore. And at 22 years of age, he became the youngest Red Sox player ever to go 5 for 5. Before that, the youngest Red Sox player ever to go 5 for 5 was a young man named Babe Ruth. He did it when he was 23. And still a pitcher.
Well, there's a reason why the Red Sox drafted him in first round, the 7th pick overall at the University of Arkansas a couple years ago.
Two-one. Fly ball left field. Gardner right there makes the play, and that'll do it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a great play by Aaron Judge in right field. We go to the 4th. It's 2-0 Yanks. One mobile app for live Yankees baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Yankees home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, statcast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. The young man with the iPhone, that's our boss, John Filippelli. On his left is his wife, Jenna. And on his right, that beautiful young lady is John Flaherty's daughter.
Oh, yeah, you're on TV. Wave. There you go. Kristen is a freshman at Northeastern University.
And loving it, right?
Having a great time. She has her last final tomorrow. And how about the timing? Able to drive up here, do this series, and drive home with your daughter on Friday.
Very cool.
Great stuff.
That's great. And her friend, I guess, for next week.
And she's doing so well in school that despite having a final tomorrow, she said, you know what, I'm going to the game tonight.
You know what? She's like her old man in that she prepared early, got it all done today.
Smart.
And she's an academic like her old man, so.
Audi scoreboard, 2-0 Yankees. It's Castro, Judge, and Bird against Porcello. There's a ground ball to third. Hot shot, grabbed nicely by Rutledge. Low throw. This one is picked beautifully by Moreland for the first out.
Oh, good play going to his left, and again another low throw. And you know, Mitch Moreland's one of those guys. When the Red Sox signed him this offseason, I said, that's a nice fit. You know, just kind of an under the radar guy. Another look on our Yes Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers, but not a whole lot of fanfare. Good first baseman, nice left-handed bat with some pop.
Aaron Judge takes upstairs. Judge has had a game in the first 3 innings. A 2-run home run in the second to right field, and then made a beautiful play in the bottom of the third in the seats in foul territory and right. 1-1 on Judge. So Judge hitting .290 in the early going. The home run in the second was the 7th. Now has 15 runs batted in, which leads the team.
Tell you what, Aaron deserves a lot of credit for what he's done at the beginning of this year. But good look at the Green Monster and how close it is. And home runs on their birthday. Aaron Judge, welcome to the club.
These are home runs that Yankees have hit on their birthday against the Red Sox. Ground ball is short. Bogarts gets Judge. Give you another look so you could read the names. Last guy to do it was Cecil Fielder, Roger Maris, and Yogi Berra. Bill Dickey in 1933, and Lou Gehrig on his 26th birthday in 1929 hit one against the Red Sox. Now I believe the only 2 Yankees to hit home runs on their birthday at Fenway are Maris and Berra, and now Judge joins them. Here's Greg Bird. He struck out in the second inning. Shift is on, 3 infielders on the right side. John, how do you get him straightened out? Do you sit him or do you just keep running out?
No, I mean, you know, the team is playing so well. You have the luxury to kind of run him out there and let him figure it out. But I just think it's a timing thing. I mentioned before getting that front foot down a little bit earlier. It kind of gives you the opportunity to see the ball a little bit earlier. You know, right now his head's probably moving. He's probably not picking the ball out of the pitcher's hand. And it goes back to spring training for me. He did everything right and never had to worry about his spring. And sometimes struggling a little bit in spring training is not the worst thing. For a pitcher, you find something mechanically. For a hitter, you find that key when you go through a tough time during the season. He never had to do that in spring training. He's having a tough time figuring it out now.
And you mentioned this earlier. He seems like he's really late on fastballs.
Yeah, and you watch from the side. You want to get this front foot down earlier. You see how he's now moving forward with that front foot, and everything speeds up. 92 looks like 96. Again. And he probably knows it, and he works on it during batting practice. He works on it in the cage, but until you get that timing, foot's still up in the air, and the pitch is approaching home plate. It's way too late.
2-2. Swing and a miss. He goes down on strikes again, and the Yankees go down in order against Porcello. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's Yankees 2, Red Sox nothing. Is brought to you in part by Infinity. Empower the drive. Visit your tri-state area Infinity retailer for a test drive today. By People's United Wealth Management, expert advice to set tomorrow in motion. And by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2017 models. Well, kind of an ugly night here at Fenway, but good so far for the Yankees. They lead 2-0 behind Aaron Judge's home run and 3 strong innings by Severino, who deals the Bets upstairs 1-0. Audi scoreboard 2-2-0 for the Yanks. Red Sox have not scored, and they've got 2 hits and they've made 1 error. There's a strike. Did he hold up? No, he did not, said Mark Carlson. Count 1-2.
After a couple sliders, just 99 miles an hour, a little off the plate. Betts struggles against, I know it's only 7 at bats now, 1 for 7, but yeah, he went.
And the 1-2. 2-2.
Severino has not racked up the strikeouts like he has the last couple of games, only 1 so far, but I love the way his pace, the rhythm, he's working fast, he's on the mound, he's ready to go.
Chopped slowly to third. Barehanded by Headley. Fires to first, not in time. Betts with an infield single.
Well, nice job by Chase Headley. I didn't think he had a shot. I mean, Betts has got good speed. You see the jam shot in on his hands and then barehanded all in one motion. Even a strong throw on the money. I don't believe he would have gotten Betts, but nice job by Headley. And the Mercedes-Benz Yesmo, so you can keep the eye on the ball, and he's tried to do a little one hopper over to first base.
Here's Mitch Moreland, grounded to second in the second. Yankees have 3 infielders on the right side for the lefty swinging Moreland.
Touched on Mitch Moreland signing that 1-year deal, John. I got a chance to talk to him. I said, what were they offering? You get a 1-year deal. This guy's been in Texas all along. He's from Mississippi. He said, I've always wanted to play in Fenway. There's certain parks. I don't know how you felt. I know you got a chance in the old Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
And I get it. You know, what you get around, if you go to the different stadiums. I said, well, as a left-hander, you know, he'd pull the ball and it would fly out of Arlington.
Yeah.
He said, no, you know, it actually, the monster, I haven't really figured it out completely, but, you know, seeing that, there's a lot of singles and even doubles off of that green monster, thinking that it actually can make him a better hitter. And how many lefties have we seen come through here with the Red Sox that they've peppered that wall?
The 2-0. Now Moreland went to Mississippi State and got drafted in the 17th round by the Rangers, and at Mississippi State he also pitched. Supposedly he throws about 95, 96.
Wow.
He's got 11 doubles already. We're not even out of the first month of the season, so Fenway Park is built right in for him.
And he's essentially replacing Ortiz because Hanley Ramirez played first last year. And he's not a great first baseman. He made the transition. He's actually a shortstop by trade. They moved him to the outfield. That didn't work, and then over to first. And with Ortiz retiring, they've made Hanley the DH, and Mitch Moreland plays first.
A dangerous pitch right here for Severino. You give up the infield hit. Now you're behind 3-1 to a hitter who's gotten off to a good start, Mitch Moreland.
Now, we told you in the open that the Red Sox are a dangerous hitting team. They come into this game with a .279 batting average, tops in Major League Baseball, and 11 points higher than the second place team in the American League. But one thing they have not done this year is not hit home runs. They're last in Major League Baseball with 11 home runs. And that's after hitting 3 on Sunday against Baltimore.
Well, you assume that's going to change, right? Hanley Ramirez is going to get hot.
Runner was going, the pitch is low, so Moreland walks first and second, nobody out. Well, before anybody gets too excited, after 19 games last year, Red Sox had 14 home runs. and then they ended up hitting 208 on the season. But if they go along at this pace, they're on pace for 94 this year. And Sandoval, who's on the DL, leads them with 3 home runs.
Yeah, I don't think John Farrell's worried about whether they're going to hit home runs or not.
Well, their hitting coach, Chili Davis, said they come in bunches. He said, I'm not going to worry about it. He said, I don't want to hear about launch angles. He said, I just care if the guy hits the ball hard.
Love Chili, old school.
Nice pick there by Romine. 1-0. John, how tough is that?
Well, you know, you call the slider, so you're expecting it to be in the dirt. You want to block it, but Severino throws it so wide and so hard velocity-wise. He only plays the backhanded, and also Romine comes up with a clean, nice play. After that infield hit, things getting a little bit away from Severino. We'll see if he can settle back down, make a big pitch, try to get a double play.
Did he hold up? No, he did not. Again, Mark Carlson says a Red Sox swung on that.
I mean, there was a commitment to swing, and I think if the only one that you'd argue is that the barrel didn't really, the snap of the wrist getting the barrel out in front of home plate, but I think he swung there. But then again, I think every hitter swings on check swings.
Let's see if they can turn 2. There's 1. And there's 2. A 4-4-3 double play as Betts moves to third.
Great job by Severino and a great job by Austin Romine. Couple of sliders away. And if you're thinking about a ground ball, you can go in with the fastball to jam a hitter, which he does after the 2 sliders. You get the easy double play ball. So a nice job of setting up a pitch that you wanted to get a ground ball with. Castro does the rest.
See, Castro took his time, gathered himself, so he made a good throw. Jackie Bradley Jr. takes a strike. 97-mile-an-hour fastball from Severino. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Yankees lead 2-0. Missed inside. Red Sox out hitting the Yankees 3-2. Yankees leading though 2-0. 54 pitches for Severino, 35 strikes. Pitch is high.
Sometimes you see a pitch or you catch a pitch and you say, I just didn't like that. Worked underneath the slider right there.
You know, he gets the big double play, makes a good pitch on Hanley. You know, he's feeling it. Okay, hold him at third. I got a shot at getting out of this. First and second, nobody out.
There's a good pitch for a strike.
See, now that's the changeup. That's the other pitch to not just John. You described it. He overthrew the slider. He's feeling you know, make a pitch, get him out, keep that runner at third base. Then he comes with a changeup that he's increased, doubled his percentage. That pitch right there, that's beautiful.
High fly, left field, backing up Gardner. He has room in front of the monster, makes the play for the final out. So first and second, nobody out, and Severino escapes. No runs ahead. 1 man left. Let's go to the 5th. 2-0 Yanks. Play right there, GMC scoreboard right here. It's 2-0 Yankees as Austin Romine leads off against Rick Porcello. That one's grounded up the middle. Bogarts moves smoothly to the glove side. One away.
Thinking back to that last inning, Austin Romine with that nice backhanded play kept the double play in order. Turned out to be a big play in the bottom of the 4th inning. Some of those things that sometimes go unnoticed.
Yeah, no, huge first and second. Great pickup, keeping the double play, as you said.
There's another look at it. The slider yanked down and away. The only play, the backhand comes up with a clean.
Torres takes upstairs. Porcello last year made Boston management breathe a little bit easier. They gave him a 4-year, $82.5 million contract in April of 2015. Didn't really have a great year, but he comes back to win the Cy Young Award last year, so it makes that contract look a lot better. And he beat out his former teammate Justin Verlander and Corey Kluber of the Indians. And he had fewer first place votes than Verlander. He had 8, Verlander had 14. But the reason that Porcello won, he had an 18-2 edge in second place votes. And here's how the voting broke down. So 5 points separated the two of them. They all had great years. But Porcello gets the win. Kid from Seton Hall Prep. He's got some baseball in his family. His grandfather, Sam Dente, actually played for the Indians in the 1954 World Series. Now, how often do you see this when we tell you that it makes the Red Sox management feel better? So he wins the Cy Young last year, and MLB.com voted him Comeback Player of the Year.
That's pretty hard to do, right? Comeback player and Cy Young.
Two. Porcello was actually committed to go to the University of North Carolina, but then the Pirates took him with the 27th pick, gave him some money, and he went to the Tigers out of Seton Hall Prep. 3-2. Line drive, base hit to left field. Torres continues to hit. On this road trip, he is 7 for 14. So if you want to get to know Rick Porcello, first round pick by the Tigers, West Orange, New Jersey, Seton Hall Prep. Made his major league debut very quickly at age 20. 6 seasons with the Tigers, 76 and 63, then the Cy Young and Comeback Player of the Year after being traded to the Red Sox December 11, 2014. And the GM now of the Red Sox was the GM of the Tigers who traded him here.
He was supposed to be top 5 picks in the draft, and I think it was a signability issue why he dropped where he did with Dave Dombrowski and Boris being his agent.
Here's Gardner. There's a strike. Gardner's 1 for 2. Single to open up the game, and then a fly ball to center. With the single by Torres, the hits are even at 3 apiece. One and one.
I was looking at Porcello's numbers today, the 22 wins, the Cy Young Award, over 220 innings, and I don't know what that feels like, Al. Like to throw that many innings and then come back the next year and try to replicate what you did the year before. You got all the run support last year. It's probably not going to happen back-to-back years, but I'd be more concerned, I think, on the workload, right? The amount of innings that he threw last year.
Especially early going. John, you make a good point. And, it's 200. Now you got a 200 inning guy, and depending upon if they go postseason, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really see 230, 240 anymore. So there is a little bit where you mentally, and I think with postseason, I was over that a couple years, but not regular season. I've been right at about 200, 215, my max. But yeah, I remember, as you bring that up, I remember spring training, just let's throttle this a little bit more, especially when it's cold as it is now.
Got that fastball by Gardner, 1-2.
As it is last year, you mentioned, that was the most innings he had. The Cy Young season, 33 starts, 223 innings. He did have one other year, 204 innings in 2014 with the Tigers. I didn't get a chance to see him in high school, but where I lived, it was legendary stuff, like strikeouts galore, no-hitters. Made it look like
Torreyes goes too far. Then the throw gets past Moreland. Torreyes will round second. He'll stop right there. So he reaches on the error by the catcher. He had wandered way off the bag, and the throw to first was the proper thing, but it was a bad throw.
Well, it's a great look right here for the Leon. You have Torreyes dead. It's an easy play, and you just lawn dart the throw, and Moreland can't come up with it, at least to just block it and keep Torreyes at first base. But your eyes light up right about now. Oh, I got an easy play. Throw it too low, and the disappointment settles in.
a little surprising, couple poorly thrown balls from Sandy Leon since he's been up in the big leagues. He's ranked second among active catchers caught stealing at 42%.
Now, Al, you talked about Porcello in high school. His senior year, 10-0, 1.18. And a lot of teams don't like to take chances on high school players, and he's in the big leagues 2 years after that. So it was quick. That's how good he was. Three-two. And Gardner works a walk. So first and second, one man out for Chase Headley. Headley line to right and walked and stole a bag in the third inning. Grounded foul. You know what else Porcello did, Al? You guys are going to like this.
Yep.
So he makes it big. He signs the big deal. He donated $1 million to Seton Hall Prep, and they named the field Porcello Field. That's nice.
Big time.
Give him back. When he was at the Tigers, though, he said his mom was a very, very big Yankee fan, and there he is at Seton Hall Prep. He said, my mom, I think, likes Derek Jeter more than she likes me. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Big spot in this game for the Yankees to build on this 2-0 lead. It's an intense look.
Coming about 95 plus in high school.
Can't even imagine a 20 years old pitching in the major leagues, right? 2 years removed from high school. How long did it take you?
21. 3 years. And I got a chance, growing up in New Jersey. 3 years later, I'm pitching at Yankee Stadium.
Can't even imagine.
You talk about scared, nervous.
Swing and a miss. He dialed it up to 93 to get Headley for the second out.
I think of Porcello as a sinker ball pitcher, but tonight the ball jumping out of his hand a little bit. He's throwing some fastballs right by some of the Yankee hitters. There's a little bit of life, a little bit of hop. Great look from the side.
Here's Matt Holliday. He has struck out twice against Porcello. 2 hits in his last 26 at bats. Swing and a miss.
They're two guys in this lineup, Holiday and Greg Bird, who are going to have to prove to Porcello they can hit the fastball, because he's throwing it right by them first couple of at bats.
Yeah, I mean, now this is that's 10 fastballs, and that's all that Matt Holliday's seen.
So 0-2.
It's really where you have to trust as a pitcher, I'm sure, Al. Trust what you're watching with the swings, right? Because you have to be thinking, I have to throw a breaking ball at some point, but you really don't.
No. If you're watching the swing right now, Matt Holliday, you're just beating him. Why would you do him a favor?
Elevate it a little bit, probably, is what you would want to do.
Popped up, first base side. And Moreland and Leon run out of room.
Glad these two are talking, because I'm sitting up here in my mind thinking all these scenarios. Oh, he fouled it off. He's getting a little closer. Maybe we should bounce a breaking ball. No, don't do that, because you know, Al.
I'm going hitter.
I'm going high fastball.
Yes.
You would be amazed at some of the thoughts that go through your mind out on the mound, I'm sure, and behind the plate.
Swing and a miss, and Holiday goes down on strikes for the third time. No runs, a hit, one error, and 2 men left at the end of 4.5. We're halfway through. Yankees up by 2. '29th, when the Yankees take on the Orioles in an American League East matchup. It's Yankees Tote Bag Day, and the first 40,000 guests in attendance will receive a Yankees tote bag, courtesy of MLB Network. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Been an ugly evening here at Fenway, a constant mist across the sky, but the Yankees are enjoying it so far as they lead 2-0 on the GMC scoreboard. It'll be the bottom third of the Red Sox order, starting with Josh Rutledge, who just came off the DL. Rutledge had 5 rehab games and was 1 for 12, but they had to kind of rush him up because of the injury to Sandoval. Sandoval hurt his right knee making a dive for a ball hit to his left side in the 6th inning Sunday. And the knee swelled up, and they decided to put him on the DL. Remember, people used to talk about how third base for the Mets until David Wright got there was a black hole. For the Red Sox lately, he has not been good. They've had 25 third basemen since 2013 as Rutledge goes down on strikes.
you say 25?
25 men have played third base since 2013.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the last third baseman that solidified that spot for viewers.
Billy Miller was good.
Billy Miller, yeah.
Mike Lowell was good.
Mike Lowell. Yeah.
Of those 25, the one who played the most was Will Middlebrooks at 154. Sandoval second at 141. Here's Marco Hernandez. He singled to center against Severino in the third inning. Swing and a miss. That 97-mile-an-hour fastball gives us the fast pitch speed analytics, brought to you by Fios. The 2-1. He's dealing now, 2-2. Feeling good about his fastball here in the fifth inning.
And he should. I mean, just at time. I mean, you mentioned it, John. The pace. I like his look. I mean, it just has a more determined. I've got something for you. He had a little Johnny Cueto
and a little Tanaka.
Yeah, Tanaka
keeping his leg up in the air. One other Red Sox feel that it certainly seems as if Severino's a different pitcher than he was last year. Swing and a miss. And one of the reasons might be the time he spent with Pedro Martinez over the winter. And Martinez really embraced him and tutored him and talked him through some things. And Martinez is a god here at Fenway, but he helped out a Yankee.
Right.
I wonder how they feel.
Well, he communicates with him, and as you said, Michael, but here, watch his little kickback, recoil. I mean, that is here it is, hit it. You can't hit me. A determined look.
Here's the catcher, Leon. Fly ball shallow center. Going back is Torres, coming on Ellsbury in a 1-2-3 inning for Luis Severino and the Yankees. Let's go to the sixth. Yankees lead 2-0. Unlimited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Take a look at this. This is Chris Coughlin. He's dead to rights at home plate. Yadi Molina has the ball, but Coughlin goes all Willie Mays Hayes and jumps over him and touches home plate, and he is safe.
Good thing he didn't break his neck.
Pretty amazing. That was last night in St. Louis. They were rained out today. They'll play a day-night doubleheader tomorrow to make up the rainout. As a catcher, John, what would you have done there?
Yeah, they don't really teach you to apply the tag up over your head. All right, so Molina, you can understand he was obviously surprised at where he ended up. What a play.
Molina's had two very strange things happen this year. The ball sticking to his chest protector, and you see the Benjamin Moore scoreboard, 2-0 Yankees, and now that. So he's on a lot of highlight reels early, but not for the good reasons.
Well, with the rule change too, when you think about it, that he would have gotten plastered standing in front of home plate.
High fly ball into the fog, and comes out of the fog into the glove of Benintendi.
Do you ever play Candlestick? This reminds me a little bit. As the night went on, it just got foggy.
Cold, foggy. First time I ever went to Candlestick, everybody was complaining about it. You go out for batting practice, it's beautiful, right? Go in, get a little sandwich, come out, and it's 20 degrees colder.
Bundle up.
Took your brother deep there, too, by the way.
Did you?
He's in the book.
Castro takes a strike.
His son got called up to the big leagues, right?
He did. He did.
That's fantastic.
Still waiting for his to get in the baseball reference. Hasn't gotten an appearance yet. Thank you.
Castro tonight reached on a throwing error by Bogarts and then scored on Judge's home run and then grounded to third. John, why do you think Porcello's fastball is playing a little faster than the number?
Well, we always talk about deception and tough to pick up, but I also think, you game plan for a guy, and in your mind you're thinking two-seamer down, and you see it out of his hand, and all of a sudden it jumps a little bit. It's a four-seamer, so good slider there.
So Castro strikes out.
Think of Porcello's year last year. Everything went right. You win the 22 games. You get all the run support. This year, last couple of starts, throwing the ball pretty well. Not a whole lot of run support. Another look at the good slider down. Maybe a curve ball, and Castro way out front.
So here is Aaron Judge. He celebrated his 25th birthday with a home run and an outstanding catch in right field where he dived into the stands. There's a strike.
I was saying when Aaron came up to the plate last time, he deserves a lot of credit, but I think the organization as well, because there's been a game plan on how to kind of clean up his mechanics at the plate. It's all coming to fruition now. So a lot of people to congratulate on this, and if you're Aaron, you hope he continues. But there just aren't as many moving parts as we've seen in the past, and a lot of people have helped him get to this point.
Well, that foul ball by Judge took out a bank of lights. It's just a natural at that. The 0-2. Judge hitting 286 overall, but when he's up there with the bases empty, hits 346. But just one of his 7 home runs a solo shot. No, check that. 4 of his 7 home runs. He has 1 double with the bases empty. 1-2. Bounced up there. Porcello's creeping up on that magic number of 100 pitches. See the pitching coach, Carl Willis, with the gray goatee. Red Sox highly regarded bench coach the last couple of years, Torey Lovullo's doing some job as the manager of the Diamondbacks. Kind of surprising a lot of people out of the gate.
Well, especially after last year with the big contract at Greinke, and they just did not get any pitch, and they were awful. And yeah, they're second place, right behind. How about Colorado?
And the 3-2 to Judge. just missed as he eyeballed that one for ball 4.
That's to your point about, what he's doing to get better. And I'm not going to get into deep analytics on this, but the one simple stat, this pitch is slightly off the plate and he takes it. Last year he was 34%. He would swing out of the zone. This year he's 24%. So just that in itself is saying he's seeing the ball, pitches that are out of the zone, I'm not going to swing. And it makes you a better hitter.
I just think he was behind in the count right away and eyeballed a few close pitches.
That one gets away from Leon as Judge advances to second. So a ball to Greg Bird on the wild pitch.
So my question to you, John, it seems like you would teach that to Little League or high school or college, but is it more of a mental mindset to then be comfortable with who you are, Major League batter's box, trust in yourself, to swing at pitches that you're supposed to swing at?
It's mechanical adjustments that simplify everything, okay? So your eyes aren't moving, and you have the ability to see the ball a little bit longer than when you had the leg kick, you're falling forward, all these things are happening. And then you put on top of that, you get off to a good start, and you're confident. And yeah, this is working, and you just keep building on it every day.
So 2-0 on Bird. That was the 100th pitch by Porcello. His pitch counts in his 4 previous starts: 96, 102, 106. His last one, 110. Fly ball the other way, going back Benintendi, turning, and he'll play it off the monster. Judge scores. It's an RBI single for Bird, and the Yankees lead 3-0. Boy, did Bird need that. He goes the other way off the wall and picks up his 3rd RBI of the year.
So many good things with 2 outs in this inning. We talked about the Aaron Judge at bat, fighting back, working a walk. He gets himself into second base with a ball in the dirt. And then Greg Bird, a confidence knock. I mean, you get ahead in the count, you can look for the fastball, and you love that he didn't try to pull it, stay on it, drive it the other way. A lot of good things happening with 2 outs for the Yankees.
So Benintendi kept it to a single, and Bird smartly stayed there at first, and that's going to bring up Romine. He drives one the other way. It's going to be a tough play for Betts on the run, and he makes the play for the final out. He took an extra base hit away from Romine and saved another run. Good play by Betts, hauling it in as he ran toward the wall. But the Yankees get another run on the Bird RBI. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Bo Sox at Fenway. Coverage will start at 6 with Audi batting practice today in the Chevy Yankees pregame. Then we're back with first pitch shortly after 7 right here on Yes. It's streaming live on Fox Sports Go. All right, we go to the 6th inning. Yankees are up 3-0. And it'll be the top of the order on the Benjamin Moore scoreboard. Bogarts, Benintendi, and Betts. Triple B against Severino. Now, Meredith, you spoke to Austin Romine about Severino so far this year.
Well, Michael, it's funny. Both Al and John were commenting on how he looks more deliberate on the mound. Austin Romine told me after his last start that he feels like he just has a different presence overall. He's been much more aggressive. He's pitching with confidence, throwing all of his pitches with confidence, and you can tell just in the way that he carries himself. He went on to say that his slider has been the best he has ever seen it at times this year. Now, I talked to Severino about that pitch in particular, and he told me the grip is the same. He's doing just about everything the same, but he's not overthrowing it this year. He is not forcing the issue. As a result, the rotation's a little bit different, and he feels like it's playing a little bit slower, keeping hitters off balance. That, combined with the fastball command and the use of the changeup, has really resulted in the increase of strikeouts.
Well, all of it sounds pretty good because he's pitching pretty well.
I just noticed that when he throws his slider, there's so much more of a finish out in front, Al. You know, like you see him, I don't know how to explain it, but out in front of the baseball, on top of it.
Not into short. And the play is made by Torres, one away.
So I think all of the above, right? I mean, you know, Meredith, what you're talking about with what Austin Romine said. There's an attitude to pitching. Here's a guy who packs the second hardest average velocity in all of baseball to Noah Syndergaard. That's what he has. And when you doubt yourself, there's a look that says, we can get him. Yeah. And justifiably so. He's dominating stuff-wise, strikeouts, and just pitching great. Here he is, 6th inning.
Deals a strike to Benintendi.
And part of that pace is, as we see even here, Benintendi's not even in the box. He's looking in. Romine's giving the sign. Let's go. And I believe, even if you don't, and you mentioned about finish on the slider, John, and you're right, because there's always that late conviction, that effort that you don't give up and you're lazy and you really finish through the pitch. Simple as that. And there's a momentum to it, and confidence and the ebb and flow of how you feel. But this right here, he's one of the quicker paced pitchers in baseball as a result of it.
Fly ball, center field. As Ellsbury makes the play. 2 outs.
And I don't know if there's much to it, you as a hitter, not as a catcher catching this guy, but watching from the opposing dugout of a guy that's determined and has the look of, uh-oh, boys, we got our hands full today.
When you dig in the box and you look out at a big league pitcher, you can tell if he's going good or if he's struggling by his body language. And when you step in there against Severino right now, you almost feel like you're behind in the count. He's dictating everything. He's dictating the pace. He's getting ahead. Chili Davis watching. You clap, but you're thinking, this guy's got it going on tonight. We might be in a little bit of trouble. And you see the look in his eye. Cecil Fielder said it to me. He's standing all crooked out there, right? Because he's proud of himself. There's a little lean to him as he's looking in for a pitch. He's got it all going on right now.
And the 0-2.
He's standing a little crooked.
A little crooked.
That's good.
He's going to lean a little bit on his right leg. Yep, I like that one. Let's go.
He certainly keeps his velocity from the first inning on. There's not any precipitous drop, and that's why Al mentioned he's second average best fastball in the game to Syndergaard.
Starters.
Yep. 1-2. Betts is 1 for 2. Infield single last time up. Swing and a miss. Strong 6th inning as Severino bounds off the mound. Retires the Red Sox in order 1-2-3. We go to the 7th. Department of Commerce.
Well, there have been a couple of game changers in this game, but our truck is picking Aaron Judge, the 2-run home run to right field to get the Yankees on the board early. And oh, by the way, he can play some defense, crashing over the wall, holding on for a nice catch. Aaron Judge, your game changer.
Well, Porcello's still in there and deals outside to Reyes. So celebrating his 25th birthday in style as the game changer. And although you got to like that selection, you could also give it to the entire performance of Severino. The Cadillac scoreboard shows you what he's done as they lead 3-0. Severino just doing it, and doing it in an impressive fashion in a ballpark that he has admitted he doesn't like pitching in.
He's not showing that tonight. Through 6 innings, 83 strikeout or 83 pitches.
Down goes Torreyes on a breaking ball with no bite.
You know, we saw it that last inning. He throws a curveball to Mookie Betts, a slider, and then strikes him out. But just even this right here, I mean, we've been talking about it, right? Just the look. And Larry Rothschild, I'm sure it's positive of a certain pitch or sequence that he had. You can see when guys feel good about what they're doing.
Fly ball, right center, drifting back is Bradley. Makes the play as Torreyes gave it a ride. 1 down.
Wouldn't you want to stay away from him when he's locked and loaded like this?
You know what I thought about when I saw that? I had Larry for a couple of years with the Marlins. I guarantee it was positive. It was something that they've been working on the side that he wanted to give him affirmation, like on that pit, you know, whatever. I'm sure it was positive. But yeah, here's 6 innings, 3 hits, shutting out the Red Sox so far.
There's Brett Gardner. Gardner's 1 for 2 with a walk. And there's a strike from Porcello. The Red Sox, by any measure, was a hard shot on 1 hop to Hernandez. Would be the favorites in the American League East. And in fact, after they made the trade to get Chris Sale, Yankee general manager Brian Cashman kind of put the load on their shoulders and said, you know what, they're now the Golden State Warriors of Major League Baseball. But with Price going down, you don't get the benefit of adding Sale. Sale's kind of replacing Price, and still no timetable on Price is coming back, although he threw the other day. And the Red Sox have been beset by injuries, and we told you they haven't hit home runs. Their starting pitching has not been that great. So they come in 11-8. The Yankees a half game ahead of them at 11-7 as Headley hits one deep to left field. That ball is going to be off the green monster. Played out there by Bradley. Hustling into second with a double is Headley as he goes the opposite way.
Chase Headley, as opposed to some of the other Yankee hitters, getting his front foot down so early and using his hands really well to start the year. Driving one the other way. Really question how far up the green monster it would be. 2-out double. No look from the side. Pay attention to that front foot down really early. Because of that, he can use his hands.
What a big time transformation for Chase Headley. You know, nice player. I mean, a few years ago in San Diego, before he came over to the Yankees, he was in MVP running and had votes. But wow, what a nice job so far here early in the year.
Here's Matt Holliday. He takes a strike, and Holliday, when you're struggling like this, you always seem like you're down in the count. He's 0 for 3 tonight with 3 strikeouts. He is 2 for his last 27. Almost seems at times, John, like he's reaching for the ball.
Yeah, you can tell how uncomfortable he is. The fastball is all over him. I'm sure there's a little bit of leaning forward. His eyes are moving. So when you see 92 or 93 and you're moving towards the pitcher and your backside's coming out, boy, it's a deflating feeling.
Late swing there, fouled it off. 3-0 Yankees. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Kind of a gloomy night here at Fenway Park. And the 0-2. 1-2. This almost looks like, I don't know, a scene from Wuthering Heights or the last scene in Casablanca. Maybe even a Stephen King novel. Stephen King's a big Red Sox fan. But certainly an ominous feel.
Here's the conversation, John. 17 fastballs in a row. I gotta throw him a breaking ball. Yeah, 17.
He's at a season high pitch count. Previous was 110, so he's at 115.
Matt Holliday knows the same thing. They're going to come right at me. I got to prove I can hit the fastball.
Three and 2. And Ellsbury's on deck. Holliday in his career a .280 hitter with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Three-2. Popped up right side. A long run for Betts, and he runs out of room. And another conference. So what could this be about, Al? Still selling the fastball to him?
So he's now up to, what I say, 17, 18, 19. So that was the 20th fastball. He's seen 20 pitches and now almost 4 complete at bats, and he's only throwing fastballs. I only imagine that that's what Sandy Leone's wanted to make sure he's on the same page. Third, second base, what do you want to do?
But he has to be sitting fastball, so wouldn't it be prudent to go breaking ball?
But he hasn't proved he can hit the fastball.
3-2. And there he goes, breaking ball and a walk to Matt Holliday. And that is going to do it, as John Farrell will make the signals to the bullpen. He'll bring in the left-hander to face Jacoby Ellsbury. So Porcello goes 6 2/3, and he leaves runners on first and second with 2 outs. Top of the 7th inning, Robbie Ross Jr. will come on, the left-hander, to face Jacoby Ellsbury with runners on first and second with 2 outs. This will be the 4th game for Ross. Porcello went 6 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. The runners on bases responsibility, walked 4, struck out 9 through 118 pitches, 73 of which were strikes. Ellsbury 0 for 3 tonight, and a count 2-0 on Jacoby. That one's in the dirt. Block. Now, John, Alan, I was just talking. I said, well, why would he throw the breaking ball? And he says, I think that Porcello probably wanted to throw the fastball. And I thought that Leon probably wanted to throw the fastball. So who do you think disagreed there? Who do you think called for the breaking ball?
Let's have a little argument. No.
It's got to be the pitcher's fault, right?
Well, yeah, but if they had a back and forth, who won out on the...
Well, listen, the pitcher always has to be the one who makes the final say on what he wants to throw. The catcher is suggesting it. I mean, I personally, I would have stuck with the fastball until Holiday showed me he can do something with it.
3-1. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. The bases are loaded with Yankees. And here comes Castro. And here comes Farrell. That will do it for Robbie Ross. So Castro will face a right-hander with the bases loaded and 2 outs. So the Yankees have a chance to give their staff some breathing room.
Just feeling comfortable and knowing where he is tonight. Impressive through the 6 innings, showing slider, change-up curve, this big double play ball. Hanley Ramirez, I'll tell you what, just watching him settle in, even emotions like that, and then the slider, watching the different combinations of high fastballs and change-ups. Boy, he's been impressive.
He'd like to get some more runs to work with. He has a 3-0 lead in the way he's pitching right now. Certainly 3-0 seems a lot, so Farrell wants to stop it right there. Joe Kelly comes on. This will be his 8th game. 10 2/3 innings, 7 hits, just 2 strikeouts, 5 walks, hard-throwing right-hander. And he'll face Castro with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
You got some good arms coming out of this bullpen. Joe Kelly's touched 100 miles an hour this year. Upper 90s.
To a breaking ball, fouled away by Castro. Pretty good bullpens on display in this series. The Yankees have the best ERA for a bullpen in the major leagues at 1.39. White Sox are next, and the Red Sox are third at 2.21. All American League teams in the top 5. Headley's at third. Holiday is at second. Ellsbury is at first, with Castro at the plate. Castro, the number 5 hitter in the Yankee order. Up and in 100 miles an hour. 1-1.
Well, you mentioned it. He throws hard. He also walks a lot of people early on this year. So we'll see if Castro can stay disciplined here with the bases loaded. As a hitter, you try to get anxious sometimes, thinking you can get a big swing. Make sure you get a good pitch to hit right here.
Two and one.
Yeah, that's the thing when you look at a guy like Joe Kelly at 10 and 2/3 innings, the 5 walks. You mentioned it, John, about walking guys. I look at a guy throwing 100 with a slider and curveball. He's got 2 strikeouts. I don't know how that happens. Especially, well, I know how it happens. You get behind and you become predictable. But repeatedly throwing 100 with a slider and a curveball.
Castro, 289 lifetime average with the bases loaded. 1 grand slam. They're loaded right here, top of the 7th inning, 2 outs. 2-1. Foul back. 2-2.
Good cuts right there. Starlin Castro missing a slider right down the middle. 90-mile-an-hour slider. Watch this one here. Just up a little too much for the liking of Starlin Castro.
And almost backed up a little bit.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded. There is so much fog right now when we use our center field camera. It's kind of hard to see home plate. Almost looks like what the sky looks like after a fireworks display. And that's our high home camera shooting toward right field. You can't even make out the retired numbers that well. You wonder if it's affecting the players on the field. Two. Still 2-2.
Well, doing a good job fighting off the 99, 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Foul back. There was a game between the Yankees and the Orioles, and it had to be anywhere from 87 to 91. And it was at Memorial Stadium, and the fog got so thick at the end of the game, and the Yankees were arguing, we can't see, and they would not halt the game, and it ended up with a pop-up that the Orioles ended up catching, but it was, look at this and think 20 times worse. It was in Baltimore's Memorial Stadium.
What year did you say?
Either 87 to 91, before obviously Camden Yards. And I know I was a writer when it happened. I was covering the game as a writer, and I'd never seen anything like it. It was so thick and dense. In football, there's a famous game in the NFL. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears. Famous fog game. Certainly not to that extent right now, but keeps moving in and getting worse. So quite a battle between Kelly and Castro. Grounded to second. Hernandez is there, and Kelly wins the battle with Castro. No run to hit. Bases left loaded. Time for the stretch at Fenway. Brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. Yankees lead 3-0. Severino, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 6. Porcello, 6 and 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 4 walks, and 9 strikeouts. Aaron Judge, a 2-run home run. Greg Bird, an RBI single. So we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Mitch Moreland will lead it off. You know, I looked up that game in Baltimore, and it was in 1989 in June. And the Yankees actually won the game because Ken Phelps hit a fly ball in the 9th inning that was lost in the fog. It became a 2-run single, and the Yankees beat the Orioles 2-1. Phil Bradley was the Oriole left fielder. He never picked up the ball. And according to a New York Times story, he said, "I'm pretty confident in saying that if somebody told me the ball was coming my way, I still wouldn't have seen it." Cadillac scoreboard, 3-0 Yankees. Pretty historic game in Boston history. There was fog that affected a Red Sox Indian game at Memorial Stadium, not at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, and somewhat zany Oil Can Boyd said after the game, "So well, that's what happens when you build a stadium right near the ocean."
And I'm pretty sure he was serious.
The 0-2, swing and a miss. Moreland down on strikes, and we will go back to the studio. Bob Lorenz with more info. All right, so right here it's 3-0, 1 out in the 7th. And Hanley Ramirez, who singled in the 2nd inning, one of just 3 hits against Severino, steps in. Other time up, he hit into a big double play. The Red Sox best threat, 1st and 2nd, nobody out in the 4th. And Ramirez hit into a 4-4-3 double play.
I was just thinking what Jack Curry said about the changeup from Severino. He really hasn't thrown it a whole lot tonight, probably just enough. He struck out Moreland with that changeup, and it wasn't even a good one, but it was about 10 miles an hour off of his fastball, Al. So probably the perfect amount of speed off of your fastball.
10, 12 miles an hour. If you can get more than that, it's even better. But Jack Curry's right, and I chart that changeup to Mitch Moreland was his 6th changeup. You talk about effective. Now, I'd like to see that number go up a little bit more when he trusts it more, because it's just going to make everything else easier.
But don't you think he didn't even need it tonight? I mean, you still got some more work to do, but the fastball has been overpowering and the slider's been effective. I know what you're saying.
I do, and I think the reason why I say that, John, is that I like for a guy to believe that it's like he owns it. Like this is part of my thing.
Every start.
Yeah, I'm not just a 2-pitch pitcher, occasional changeup, and it's an emergency secondary pitch. Like, I own this, and oh my gosh, I mean, fastball 98, 9900, slider wipeout. Guys have a tough time righty on righty, and then he starts believing in his changeup. I hear you, because this has been pretty smooth.
His 92nd pitch he threw for 99 miles an hour. Last time out against the White Sox on April 18th, he threw 107. That's his high in the 3 games so far this year.
You know what, in spring training, the one thing that we always talked about with him was graduating from a thrower to a pitcher, and Severino said the same thing. We're seeing it now.
Swing and a miss as Ramirez down on strikes. So 3 straight Red Sox retired via the strikeout.
What does pitching mean? It means throwing the right pitch in the right count, a good slider down and away. It also means stepping off the mound a little bit when things aren't going quite your way. He's done that a few times tonight. He's growing up before our eyes, I think, Al.
I'm with you. I mean, back to another there. You see Tyler Clippard getting ready.
Pitch to Jackie Bradley Jr.
And Michael, you mentioned that, I'm sorry, he's up to what, 94, 95 pitches, 94 pitches. That changeup also, and I'm with you, John, because I'm reluctant that you don't want to be defensive. There it is down.
One.
But then it becomes an action ball. Now you're not fighting, trying to punch everybody out, and pitch count goes up, etc. That 1-0 changeup down the middle, guy rolls over.
Nice ground ball.
You get an easy out. Back-to-back changeups.
Fouled away.
He's probably feeling the finish line right now, standing off the back of the mound. The rosin bag, make a good pitch right here, could be the end of your night.
So he walks Bradley, and that's going to bring up Rutledge, and let's see if it brings out Girardi. Well, looks like they'll leave it to Severino against Rutledge. He's handled Rutledge twice tonight, a ground ball and a strikeout. So Bradley leads off first. Grounded in the hole, backhanded by Torreyes, fires to second. Oh, what a scoop by Castro to get Bradley. An outstanding play on both ends. Torreyes to get to the ball, Castro to make the scoop and then make the force. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. The Red Sox are checking whether or not they are going to challenge, but it looks like they got the call right, and no challenge to this point as we go to the 8th. Yankees lead 3-0. Art phenom Andre Trenier and star catcher Gary Sanchez have come together to design 3 custom Yankee caps. Pick up a Pepsi and vote for your favorite one at Yankees.com/Pepsi. Plus, you could win Yankees prizes just for voting. Joe Kelly's still in there as he deals to Aaron Judge. A strike. 2-run home run for Judge. Scored 2 runs. Also walked. Trying to go Lansdowne right there. Count 0-2. Dylan Betances up.
What a night.
Monday scoreboard 3-0 Yanks.
Right, Mikey. What a night, huh, for Severino.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss. 101 miles an hour.
That was a good point before, Al, with Kelly. If he gets ahead in the count throwing 101 with that good breaking ball, he's going to be tough. That's exactly what happened to Aaron Judge.
And middle of the plate up. And tough to lay off. It's got plate coverage. Of course, 101 miles an hour.
Swing and a miss. 100 miles an hour past Bird. Swing and a miss. So Kelly's feeling it right now. Bird got a much needed single off the wall and an RBI as last time up. He struck out his other 2 times. You know, you look at Aroldis Chapman and you could say, yeah, he probably throws hard. I mean, he's like a statue. He's so big. Joe Kelly, you wonder where it comes from. Kind of a thin guy. Almost Guidry-esque in built. And he's generating power somewhere. Pitch upstairs.
I got him 6'1", 190. I'm with you.
Are you seeing 190 there?
190 pounds.
I don't know.
It's raining out. Uniform might be a little wet. Adds a little weight.
Cement shoes.
Glad I'm not using that scale. The 2-2. 3-2. Austin Romine waiting on deck. Three-2. Good at bat for Bird as he works a walk. Well, we were talking about that game in Baltimore, and Mike Medvin in the truck actually dug this video up of that game. Pretty amazing.
Heavy fog began rolling in from left field.
How about that? And that's to off the bat of Ken Phelps and Phil Rizzuto in the background, and Bradley had no idea.
It went to the wall. Barfield scores. Tolleson scores.
Barfield and Tolleson.
2-1 New York. Bradley had no idea where it was.
Amazing game. Great job by Mike Medvin. There's a strike to Romine. You know how Barfield became a Yankee, John?
No.
The Yankees traded a left-handed pitcher to the Blue Jays for him. And the anniversary's coming up, Al, April 29th.
That's right.
If you remember.
Yeah, because when you said 1989, then you said June. I said,
Yeah.
I was, yeah, April 29th.
Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Romine.
Were you ever in season trade?
Yes. Yes.
Awkward, right?
Incredibly awkward. You walk in that new clubhouse feeling like you have to make a good impression, right? Not easy. Who's the new guy?
We don't like you.
We like the old guy better who's here.
Well, especially, I mean, that was just high chat right there, fastball by Romine. But, you know, I came from the Yankees. I was a young player. I pitched against Toronto a couple times, and then here I am. You know, next year I'm traded to that club. No, I'm saying the timing of it, how it all played out. Dallas Green, the late Dallas Green, was my manager and called me in during the game. I was traded during the game. Couldn't wait till after.
Here's Torreyes. Fly ball, right field. Betts will make the play, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, no errors. One man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 3-0 Yankees. Don't miss the debut of our Yes Network original docu-series, Homegrown: The Path to Pinstripes, featuring unprecedented access to the Yankees' highly touted farm system and a revealing look at some of the Bombers' top prospects. And it premieres Monday at 11 only on Yes. Do not miss that show. It's that good. All right, so Luis Severino's night is done, and pretty darn good night. 7 innings, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, through 100 pitches, 63 for strikes. And he turns it over to Dellin Betances to pitch the 8th inning. This will be the 8th game for Betances. 9 strikeouts in 6 innings of work. And Marco Hernandez will lead it off. Hyundai scoreboard, 3-5-0, leading 0-3-2. Now, the last time that the Yankees were in Fenway, they were still very much in play for a wild card spot. And in the first game of a 4-game set, Betances closing because of the trades of Chapman and Miller gave up a big home run to Hanley Ramirez, and the Yankees ended up getting swept in that series, and that really ended any kind of hope at the postseason. So that was a really rough 4 games here in Boston. There's a strike. It just seems, Al, I guess it becomes a mindset thing, that Dellin's so much more comfortable pitching the 8th inning than closing the game. I mean, he's lights out in the 8th inning, but he did struggle a bit as a closer. Swing and a miss. Down goes Hernandez.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, look, he's got closer stuff. Clearly, I mean, his strikeouts per 9 are off the chart, tops in baseball. But you know, I hear you. You know, when you get that chance, and this is where I disagree with the sabermetricians and the analytics department, where they don't factor in heartbeat, pulse rate, blood pressure. You know, that 27th out, John, you've been there to catch that last out in a 1-0 game, whether it's at Fenway in a big series, etc., Yankee Stadium down the stretch. It's different. It's different. I don't care. They say, oh, it doesn't matter. High leverage inning, you know, 6th inning, 7th inning, 9th. No, it's not. Not in a tight game. And Betances, in my opinion, he's closer stuff, and when given the chance, I think he's going to be exceptional. There's nothing to not like about him, and I think it comes with experience.
Totally agree. But there is a security blanket that Mariano Rivera's behind me, or Aldis Chapman is behind me, and I might get myself in a little bit of trouble. But I'm with you 100%. At some point, he's going to be a dominant big league closer.
He's got the demeanor. He's really soft-spoken, and it doesn't seem like the pulse would race that high with him, and his stuff is obviously closer quality. And he strikes out the first 2 Red Sox, Hernandez and Leon.
You try to think, you know, that they're robots, and it's just, you know, make a pitch, and you know, that's my mantra, is that you're out there to execute a pitch, but you see feeble swing right there by Sandy Leon. Yeah, how often, Michael, players can just keep it the same? You hear about, you know, big time players, they elevate their game in the postseason or World Series or big games. No, they do what they've always done.
Bogarts fouls it back. But there does seem, I mean, with 2 outs, we don't want to start this, but there does seem to be that one glitch in the people that love the analytics, and you know, I'm on that side as well. There's no way to measure stomach, pulse, blood pressure. They just don't believe that's a factor.
Listen, I'm with you. I'm not saying that you stay in the dark ages and not respect and value analytics. I look into it as much as any retired player. Flash, I know we talked about it, Fangraphs, and you know, the different scouting metrics that are out there now, and uber level of statistics. But you just said it. You can't measure that, and that's something that's not a defined number, a stat, a category.
And I think that sometimes in that camp makes them uncomfortable, because if you can't measure it, then it's not a measurable, so it doesn't really matter. But it does.
It does.
The 0-2. 1-2. Bogarts 0 for 3 against Severino. And that one's grounded to third. Headley makes the play, and a strong 8th inning for Dellin Betances as he retires the Red Sox in order. 1-2-3. We'll go to the 9th. Yankees up by 3. It's the WB Mason postgame show. Bob and Jack are back in the studio with highlights and analysis, and Meredith will get the reaction from right here at Fenway. All that and more to come right here on Yes. It's been all Yankees so far. Severino brilliant through 7. Betances perfect in the 8th. Yankees have managed 3 runs, and right now that's holding up. New Red Sox pitcher. It'll be Robbie Scott, one of 3 left-handers in their bullpen. We've already seen Robbie Ross. Now it's time for Robbie Scott. The other lefty is Fernando Abad. So there'll be the 7th game for Scott, and he is yet to allow a run. 2 hits in 3 innings, struck out 2. So Brett Gardner, 1 for 3 with a walk. Pitch inside.
This will be a tough at bat for Brett with that arm angle from Scott. Brett swung the bat well tonight. A base hit, a line drive to right field. He walked, hit a ball hard to second base. So one of those nights where maybe you see that things are going to turn around, hitting the ball pretty good.
There's a strike, 2-1 on Gardner. Brett led off the game with a single to center. Then hit a sharp fly ball to center in the 3rd, walked in the 5th, and grounded to second in the 7th. There's a strike.
That's got to happen. This is your typical lefty on lefty. Come and get a couple lefties out. Robbie Scott, 88, 90, but way across his body. Throws a lot of curveballs. Completely different than the right-hander Joe Kelly, who was in there for a couple innings.
Swing and a foul ball. Backside was going one way, the bat another.
That's the old emergency hack right there. Completely fooled the arm angle that Al was talking about. Everything goes this way, and you just try to spoil a tough pitch, and did a good job of it.
You calling that again? I am.
Right back to it.
Ooh. Strike 3. Gardner down looking. Gardner doesn't think so. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees.
I must have thought it was down. I got it from the angle where Robbie Scott's throwing from. That, I mean, it had the height. I guess he thought it was away.
Headley fouls it away. Headley had a double off the Green Monster in the 7th. So he's 1 for 4. Aroldis Chapman getting ready to pitch the 9th inning. Breaking ball strike, back door. Grounded to 3rd. Rutledge. gets Headley for the second out.
Keeping him in there for Matt Holliday.
Holliday with a walk in the 7th. Struck out his 3 previous times up. 1-0. Missed back door, 2-0.
Though it's funky from the left side across his body, should get a good pitch to hit here. You only go 3-0.
Good. 3-0. They got a lefty on deck in Ellsbury.
Kind of like this matchup for Matt Holliday right here, though. If nothing else, it gets him back out over the plate and thinking right center. We've seen him pull off a little bit here tonight.
There's a strike.
You see where that front side closes off towards right center field. With a lefty with a low 3/4 arm angle, you kind of have to set your sights out over the plate, get your body in the position to drive it to right field. It might be just what he needs.
And he walked him. Second walk of the night for Holliday, and that'll bring up Ellsbury. Ellsbury gets that reception every time he comes to the plate. Wade Boggs has heard it. Roger Clemens has heard it. Johnny Damon has heard it. I'm sure Babe Ruth heard it. There's a strike. One and one. In the count, 3-1. Holliday's at first with 2 outs. We're in the 9th inning. It's 3-0 Yankees. First game of the series after last night was rained out. And the pitch. Strike 2. So that releases Holliday at first with 2 outs. Runner goes. 3-2 is lined on 1 hop to Hernandez. He gets Ellsbury, and that'll do it. Here in the 9th, no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 man left. Aroldis Chapman will come on. He'll try to close it out in the bottom of the 9th. Yankees lead 3-0. Land Rover drive of the game.
Our Land Rover drive of the game. We talked about Aaron Judge and the Green Monster. He decides to go the other way. 2-run shot into that Yankee bullpen. Aaron Judge with your Land Rover drive of the game.
Well, this falls under amazing. Our Jeff Quagliata back at our Yes Studios has found out that Judge is now the second Yankee to homer in his first at bat in both Yankee Stadium and Fenway. The other one, Cody Ransom did it in 2008. So Judge and Ransom hooked together forever. Well, let's see how 105 in the fog plays here in the bottom of the ninth inning as Chapman comes on to close it out. Three-0 Yankees. Chapman, last pitch on the 22nd at Pittsburgh. He'll face Benintendi, Betts, and Moreland, 2, 3, and 4 in the Red Sox order. One and 0.
It's a nice matchup here to start the bottom of the ninth. Benintendi, the good young left-handed hitter against the power arm in Chapman.
There's a strike. 2-1. Benintendi is 0 for 3. All three of those at bats against Severino. Grounded to third, fly ball to left, fly ball to center. The 2-1. 2-2. Benintendi thought that was a bit low.
It's knee high. Let's see outside part of the plate, but perhaps a bit generous on the lower part of the strike zone, fielding culprit.
And the 2-2. This is outside at 99, 3-2. And the pitch. Benintendi works a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, Chapman, like Betances, had 4 days off both pitching in that game on Saturday in Pittsburgh. At times, how you keep your relievers fresh and also get the appropriate amount of rest.
Mookie Betts 1 for 3 tonight. He sandwiched the single with 2 strikeouts. Strikeout in the first and in the sixth. One and 0. A little foggier here at Fenway. And the 1-0. There's a strike. And the strike on the inside corner, 1-1. Yankees a half game in front of the Red Sox in the East. The Orioles come in at 13-6 in first place. Then the Yankees, who've played one fewer game, the Red Sox are 11-7. Red Sox are 11-8. One. Slider was upstairs, 2-1.
That's a feel, and I know the weather is what it is, but 4 days off. That trying to slow him down, I would think, with Austin
that's what I was
Romine
just thinking.
to throw a slider because his fastball is just missing enough. Not a whole lot of trickery with Aroldis Chapman. He's coming at you.
There's a strike. Yankees are not holding on Benintendi. Bird playing behind him. Count 2-2 on Betts. That run at first doesn't mean much. Kind of surprised they don't hold him on, though. Might not be able to get a double play if he gets a good jump, but they might figure that Chapman doesn't get that many ground balls. 2-2. Driven the other way. Foul. Former Yankee Chris Young has come on deck. Pinch hit for Moreland.
Yeah, I agree with you, with Greg Bird not being totally back. I get it. If you're not going to play on there, the run doesn't mean anything because you're up by 3. Play back. Get a better angle. He's just kind of standing right behind the runner of Benintendi. That's to keep Benintendi from not just getting an easy walk-in lead.
2-2. Driven deep to left field, and Gardner turns to play it off the Green Monster. Betts is at second with a double. Benintendi stops at third, and the Red Sox threatening in the bottom of the 9th inning, second and third, and nobody out.
Well, I'm having flashbacks of Don Zimmer, who would always talk about Fenway Park. It's never over at Fenway Park. It just feels a little different here. Crowd starting to get into it now. Betts always able to kind of pull his hands in and hammer the ball to left field. That Green Monster, anything can happen here at Fenway.
So here is Chris Young. Dangerous against left-handed pitching. And he comes to the plate, pinch hitting for Moreland, and he comes to the plate as the tying run. So Chapman has worked himself into a jam, a walk and a double. And the crowd at Fenway quiet for the entire night. They are up. Strike. 100 miles an hour as Chapman dials it up. Kimbrel up just in case. He's the Red Sox closer. And the pitch. Chop the third. Headley will get Young. Scoring is Benintendi, so the Red Sox are on the board. Yankees lead 3-1 as Betts stays put at second.
Well, Austin Romine's going to go out and have a talk with Chapman. Ramirez coming to the plate, obviously a dangerous hitter, only has 1 home run on the year, but I'm sure they're talking about first base is open. We don't want to put the tying run on. You know, the closer's mentality is I'm never pitching around anybody. I'm coming right at you. Only Ramirez is a guy, obviously with 1 swing of the bat, can tie this game up.
So Ramirez is 1 for 3 today. He singled in the second, wrapped in with double play in the 4th, and struck out in the 7th. Severino, so good through 7. Betances, 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. Chapman running into trouble. That's the first run Chapman has allowed this year. Last year against Dellin Betances, Ramirez hit a home run that essentially ended the Yankee season. The Yankees ended up getting swept in that series, and their postseason hopes were certainly dashed. That was a big home run. The 1-0. Foul back. Hanley Ramirez 0 for 4 against Chapman lifetime.
Such a tough spot when you're catching here because you want to pitch right-handed hitters in off the plate to get them from diving out over and hooking the ball over the green monster. But if you miss, it's a dangerous pitch.
There it is.
There it is.
1 and 2.
Austin Romine setting up inside. It leaked back over a little bit. Up and in, helped him out.
And again, Chapman, you're getting 100 mile-an-hour fastball, so the sprinkling in of his slider is not that much. I mean, clearly you're up at bat right here. You're looking fastball, but man, it just calls for some back foot slider right here.
Mookie Betts at second, 1 man out, bottom of the 9th, 3-1 Yankees. And the 1-2 to Ramirez. That's off the glove of Romine, doesn't see it, allows Betts to move to third.
Well, again, it's the same thing. To hit 100 miles an hour, you want it down. It's tough to catch when it's up in the zone like that. Austin Romine gets a glove on it, just gets away from him enough that Betts is able to advance.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runner at third. Bottom of the 9th inning. Yankees leading 3-1. Chapman steps off.
I think Romine was calling for a backdoor slider there.
Three and 2, 1 pitch away from putting the tying run on base. And the payoff. Foul back.
That was a healthy cut right there by Hanley Ramirez. This ball is, he's just powder river, just throwing it as hard as he can. I mean, you see where Romine was setting up pretty much down the middle.
Again, Al, I know closers don't like to pitch around somebody, but I just wouldn't give in right here. You got Bradley Jr. who hits left. Rutledge behind him. You don't really have any pinch hitters because Pedroia is not available. See what he goes with 3-2.
Over the fastball, low and inside, so the tying run's on first base. And that brings up Jackie Bradley Jr.
I know that this is what Chapman does, but of 21 pitches, he threw one slider. It was to Mookie Betts for a ball.
Well, the most pitches that he's thrown in this short season so far, 22. That was on April 14th against the Cardinals at the stadium. He's at 21 right now, 11 strikes. First and third, one out. Bradley at the plate. Threw him a breaking ball for a strike. And the 0-1. And another strike.
He's throwing them for strikes, but they don't have that big, nasty bite on them. Just kind of the get-me-over sliders. You could tell Chapman uncomfortable, obviously, with fastball command and a couple of baby sliders.
And the 0-2. Foul back, 100 miles an hour. Well, they're making him work, but he's not getting it past them. They're fouling back that fastball. And the 0-2. Swing and a miss, got him. Like he hung a breaking ball. And Bradley just swung and missed on the change of speed.
Yeah, he did, Michael. It was two sliders early, getting the count, and then he missed with the fastball, fouled it off, and then that's just a spinning slider up over his head. Took advantage of an aggressive hitter, Jackie Bradley Jr.
So that leaves it to Josh Rutledge. Just came off the DL today to replace Pablo Sandoval. Rutledge is 0 for 3. He was 1 for 12 in a 5-game rehab assignment. And here he is against Aroldis Chapman with the game on the line. Tying runs are on base, the winning runs at home plate. Well, you make one mistake there with that throw, and the second run scores, and all of a sudden the tying run's in scoring position.
Let's take care of the hitter right here.
And the pitch. Upstairs. That slider just doesn't have any bite to it tonight. That was up in the zone. 1-0. And also, you throw that to a right-handed hitter and it doesn't hang as high as it did, and all of a sudden the game is over. So you really have to be careful with that pitch.
Just overthrown. I mean, you know, you get in a situation like this, now it's a tight game, and that's what Chapman does. He reaches back and throws his fastball as hard as he can, and you can see it with his slider as well, getting underneath him.
The 1-0. There's a strike. Put that slider in there. 1-1.
Well, he's going back to it, 83 miles an hour. Again, it's not the nasty one. It's the get me over, which would worry me if I'm Austin Romine. Let's take my chances with 98, 100 miles an hour. Here comes a fastball in.
1-1. Now, is he using the slider as much as we're seeing, John, because he doesn't feel good about the fastball tonight?
He doesn't feel good about anything. He doesn't feel good about fastball command. He doesn't feel good about, and you could tell the body language, as good as it was for Severino, this isn't an easy inning for Chapman. He's trying to figure out a way to get through it. It almost looks like a little uncomfortable. Look on his face.
It showed 94 on the board.
It was a fastball.
First and third. 2 outs. 1-2 count on Josh Rutledge. Again, not the fastball. 2-2. A game that was dominated by the Yankees for 8.5 innings. Now a lot of drama here in the bottom of the ninth. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. Pitch. Fouled away. You can see his fastball is a lot lower than we know it to be. He has hit 100, but now he's at 94, 96, and his pitch count is now at 30.
Yeah, 30 pitches, Michael, in an inning is a lot for any starter, especially a closer. He's grinding this out here. This is not obviously an easy inning. Feeling his way on his slider,
and again, a lollipop throw to first.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Maybe just giving himself a little bit of time to figure it out and regroup right here. Make a pitch.
The 2-2. That was 98 and it was fouled back. And now Torreyes goes to talk with his teammate Chapman. And that was just give Chapman a little bit of a breather. Betts is at third. Ramirez is at first. 1 run already in. Yankees holding on 3-1. Bottom of the ninth inning. Josh Rutledge at the plate with a 2-2 count and 2 outs. Chapman about to throw his 32nd pitch. Drilled deep to left field, but that one hooks foul. It makes the upper deck, but foul.
It's exactly what you worry about with that slider.
and the depth that you're talking about, John. You watch this at little 85 mile an hour, just got in just enough for Rutledge to not be able to pull his hands in enough. You see the breaking ball, the slider that's going down and in. Boy, he just missed it.
Chapman taking so much time between pitches. He took a walk on the backside of the mound, went to the grass halfway between the mound and second base. Now back atop the rubber. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss, he got him. He found it from somewhere, and he blew it past Rutledge for the final out as the Yankees win 3-1. And a whole lot of Yankee fans and a whole lot of Yankees just took a very deep breath as the Yankees nailed this one down.